Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Hello, everybody. Let me get my light turned on here real fast. Welcome, everybody. It's been an interesting lead up to the start of 2022. Our good friend who goes by Mr. Maza on Twitter asked a Brazilian dude how big his tits were.
Ooh.
I got mistaken for a porn star on Twitch. And Cobra Kai season 4 dropped. So this has been an interesting lead up to the start
Very nice.
2022. And speaking of Cobra Kai season 4, we both watched it, and we both talked about it, and we're going to go, and I fixed the title to say spoilers, so if you don't want any spoilers, if you haven't watched it, tune out and then tune back in, basically to watch our thoughts on the season itself, but they did not hold back necessarily this season. There was like a lot of emotional roller coasters with the characters, a lot of spoilers at the end because they really set up for a big fucking showdown to happen.
Finally,
considering what Silver did, and we'll go into that once we get to near the final season, and characters who like were, I guess, lost in a way, found themselves, like, you know, they're like, you're seeing them grow in a sense, seeing them change, and that's what I love about this show. They're not static, they're not one-dimensional. And you like find yourself starting to root for the people you're supposed to hate early on in the season, a little bit. So, before I say hello to the chat, Steph, let everybody know where they can find you and just, I guess, what's your level of like excitement for this season?
Basically? Oh, my level of excitement is through the roof, and my level of hype for season 5 is just, it's right up there too. I am so stoked. I have so many thoughts on this season. I want to hurry up and get talking about it.
I know, like there is a lot to break down for just about every one of the characters. There's a lot to break down, which is like says a lot about the writing for this series. That we can actually have a whole live stream discussion about it, and it's not just like, I like it. It's pretty much no. You want to break down every little detail of what's going on with these characters, and the fact that they leave you with hype, such a fucking cliffhanger for season 5. And I don't know. We'll get into it. But first off, let me say hello to the chat. First off is Brian King, who says, "Hey, Mara, Steph, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Brian, as well." Orange Hat Reviews, Happy New Year's to the 2 sexiest nerds on YouTube. Thank you so much, Orange Hat Reviews. Steph just has him come into the chat just so I say his name. Drew Dat Entertainment. Happy New Year's to yours, Steph and Mara. Happy New Year's, Drew. Much appreciated.
I'm sorry. I didn't say Happy New Year to the chat. I didn't say Happy New Year at all. I just started talking about Cobra Kai. Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2022. Let's kick this off with some nerdy talk and some awesome nerdy talk because Cobra Kai.
Yes. And then I changed the background too. After I took up this comment, I put it back onto the Cobra Kai background because I figured, well, obviously we're talking about Cobra Kai, so let me put that background back up. Ira Gershwin, it's recently come to my attention that I've been officially rejected by society. Thus, here I am. Also, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Ira. Good to see you. Sunny Brave Megatron with my emotes, basically. You have Judgy Mara, Raging Mara, Pancakes, and Emo Lethal, basically.
Emo Whittle. That is my favorite one.
Yes.
I like Emo Whittle.
Jacob Ironside, good evening, Jade and Steph. First stream of 2022. Yes, we're gonna kick things off right, basically. Marcus Henry, he says first. Well, you're first somewhere, Marcus Henry, but thank you so much for like hanging out with us. Dominic the writer, he's like, oh man, never mind, basically, yeah. Hey ladies, happy 2022 to you both. Let's make this year great. So let's basically, I did a stream on Twitch. I did 2 streams on Twitch actually yesterday on New Year's Eve, and when I did Splitgate later on in the evening, I said teabag 2021. Just like 2021 had its ups and downs, but let's fucking teabag it and get into 2022 and make it our year, pretty much.
Nice. I wanted to stream on Twitch, but I wasn't done with the show, so I knew that we were going to talk about it, and I was like, well, I can't be doing 2 things at once.
But you played Animal Crossing, I know, because you posted a little image of you at the New Year's Eve party.
Oh, that was last night.
I know, in Animal Crossing.
I was just like, because because they were all geared up for New Year's. They had like the countdown clock and everything, and I kept it up the whole day. I was like, I want to see how these little animals party. You should have seen them. They were like marching, and some were dancing. We had glow sticks and party poppers. It was lit. Animal Crossing was the place to be.
Well, if you say so,
Yeah,
basically.
I do.
Bukaki Lord, hello ladies. I hope you both like my island and Animal Crossing. Well, yeah, my island that Steph visited, and now will show up that whenever I visit her, I will be coming from she knows where.
Yep.
And then Crystal popped into my chat, and I was like, "Oh shit! I hope now I kind of regret naming."
Have you gotten your house yet?
No, I hadn't had a chance to play it today or go do
Okay.
anything today on it. So eventually I will. Eventually I will, because I'm getting tired of putting things into my pockets and having to drop them because I can't carry all that shit.
I know. I would only carry like the essentials, I would only carry the essentials that I needed. Like the hammer, or not the hammer, the axe,
Mm-hmm.
the shovel, pogo stick, and ladder. I would only carry those 4 things because everything else I was going to be picking up and selling. As soon as my pockets were full, I would just go and sell everything.
Yeah.
I would just keep
Basically
those 4 things.
I finally got enough to I can't say this without sounding dirty. I got enough wood to actually make the mirror.
Yay! So you changed your appearance?
A little bit. I put my character in a ponytail, which is what I wanted initially, basically. So, but they didn't have for some reason whenever I created my character. So that's all I was like really cared about. It's like basically, again, can't sound dirty, getting wood because that's what I was missing for the mirror, basically.
Yeah.
So,
I need to go to your island and get more wood too.
there you go.
Because I'm all out of wood.
Well, I have plenty.
I know you do. I know you do. Just don't use what you have to do. You can't use the axe that I gave you, because the axe that I gave you will knock your trees down, and you need those trees to get wood. So you have to use like your regular stone axe to just, hit it 3 times and get your wood. Because if you use the axe I gave you, then the trees won't regrow.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just have a bunch of stumps.
I can't remember what axe I used, but I didn't take down a lot. I just took down enough to get for the mirror, basically. That's all I really cared about. No hard feelings, Mara. Well, kind of still hard feelings. I don't know if you saw his clip on Twitter, basically, but he was playing Splitgate with me and Joshy, and I think it was it Chunk or Gaming? But Gaming or what? And Chunk the Punk were playing with me at the same Splitgate last night.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point we were playing Free For All, which is a mode on Splitgate. And it's basically what the name is, Free For All. You just kill anything that moves. Doesn't matter team, just kill anything that moves. And I was gunning for Joshy, because I had to take out Joshy as part of the score that was keeping track on my screen. What does Megatron do? He takes me out. I'm not even focused on him. He takes me out. And he's like, don't worry, I got him for you. I'm like, it defeats the purpose. Thank you. It defeats the purpose. So whoops. Whoops.
I got it, Stieg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
I got it, Mar.
Okay. Yeah. So I saw his DM yes. Yeah, he wants to come on. So Drew Dat Games is also in the chat. Who dat? 2022.
Who dat?
Happy New Year, all.
Who dat? Is Drew Dat.
Dread Saber Phil. Alora with Stieg on her stream called me Drained Saber, and I blame Mara and stuff. I don't know why. I don't know where she got that.
Drained Saber.
Trey Courtney says, hey, Mara and Steph, finished Cobra Kai. That final episode was so good. Happy New Year to both of y'all. Yes, it was. It was literal fire, if there was ever a definition for a finale episode. For a
so good.
TD, hey, everyone. Happy New Year, Mara and Steph, and chat. Happy New Year, TD, to you as well. Really? I'm finally catching up with the chat, so hold on, everybody. The Major, Radio Free, Bolinas lives, pretty much. So hello, the Major. That was partly my fault, Lethal, for Australian $5, says these hoes always late. Partly my fault, because I was getting an invite sent to Stieg, who just popped in to the studio.
Hi. Well, I didn't get an invite until now.
Well, I mean, I can't say this without throwing stuff under the bus, basically, but I didn't know that you wanted to talk about it. And then she said, and then
Yeah, and then Mara didn't send me the link until like 5 minutes before the thing
I
started.
literally finished it 5 minutes before the stream.
I like that Steph didn't forget about me.
No.
2022 is great already.
So, like, in my defense, 5 minutes before the stream is when I literally clicked off of Cobra Kai, because that's when the credits started rolling on the final season.
You have no defense.
That is my defense right there. Guess who had to go to the bathroom that I had to keep stopping the show for?
Yeah, you have to use offense.
Say hello. Nah, well, I mean, offense and defense. Here, I have a perfect statement for the blend of both schools of karate. You do not throw the first strike, but you sure as hell throw the last one. That's my philosophy in life.
My philosophy is don't do anything until they turn their back, then you throw a rock.
Or a snowball filled with poop.
Throw a rock.
Yeah.
Sir Cummingsworth III, my New Year's Eve resolution is to be hit by a semi-truck with me being totally unscathed and the truck being totaled. Well, if it's an Autobot, then good.
Sir Cummingsworth III gave me the best Christmas present ever. Ever.
Was it the forthcoming?
No.
He became his profile picture, and that is going to be an emote on my Twitch. Sir Cummingsworth III. He became his profile. It was so amazing. He sent it to me. I was like, this a new emote. This got to be it. It's a new emote. I love it.
Keely Chow. Hey, everybody. Hello,
Hey,
Keely. We'll be talking about Cobra Kai. Phil says, OMG, this is the extremely beautiful Mara and the badass Steph. Thank you so much, Phil. Good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he had popped on yet. Just when he sent that message. So sorry. Soul Assassin, getting mistaken for a porn star is hell of a compliment. Yeah. And also, I think I guess I don't know if this be a compliment or not, but Mazza thinking a Brazilian dude was a female. Because if you haven't watched that clip, go check out Skirmitar on Twitter. He posted it. I retweeted it. If you follow me, go watch it, give it views, and embarrass Mazza even more.
I want to get confused.
Gosh, Lethal, they have to leave it on a cliffhanger. It's a series. It's not like a movie.
Lethal doesn't like Cobra Kai. That offends me.
He pokes the bear.
Oh, I know why. It's because they made fun of anime in it a little bit. Anime and cosplay with that black kid.
Well, that kind of I was like, I wasn't like mad at it. It was like, it's not that nerdy.
Anyway. I was planning on clipping it and sending it to you and going, hey, is this you?
And he wonders why I threaten him with Paltrow candles. Just saying. Howdy, Sensei Mara and Sensei Steph Todd. Happy New Year. There are no furries in this dojo. No.
Quiet!
There are no furries in this dojo. Let's see. And $9.99 super chat from Mike Hill. Watched the whole season today, and now I'm ready for the next season. Yes. And apparently I think they already started filming season 5.
It's wrapped. It's wrapped.
Yeah. It's wrapped, yeah. So I'm like, it's not going to come soon enough, basically. So I'm ready for season 5, like Trey is, pretty much.
I caught a little hint near the end, and I'm wondering if you guys caught it too. But I'm not going to say it yet, though.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll basically go through from the beginning of the season to the end. So at some point we'll get to it and see.
Well, I guess I could say it. One character that is named after a certain metal said, well, maybe I have people to call too. #Barnes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So at some point it was like Barnes, I think, has to come back. It's basically the theme. One of the themes of this current season is breaking the cycle, but at the same time, Barnes is part of that cycle. So there has to be some closure with that character. They have to bring him back. Basically. Also,
they tend to introduce a villain a little bit in the season before he shows up, because they did that with Silver and with Kreese too, because he showed up at the end of the first season. But they showed clips of Barnes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so he is part of that cycle. So they can't do they really can't do this show without bringing some like closure with all the characters that we know from the movies, basically. Because like you saw, like, well, we'll get to the end of it, but Chosen shows up at the end of this season as well, so he's gonna be part of it again in this like season coming up. So rhetorical thrills, like, hey, hi guys, just got here. I came across my high school yearbooks and I've been looking at them with my little girl. Oh, I'm so cute. I don't know what I did with mine.
I don't have one.
Dan Blackroyd just says Bukaki. Hello, Dan Blackroyd. So
I did finish high school. It's just that we don't have yearbooks.
oh well.
I
You get
have
a
my
picture.
At least you
yearbooks.
finished high school, so
Yeah.
Lucamus Prime says hello. Good to see you, Lucamus.
Hi.
Teresa. Hello, Teresa. Good to see you as well. Let's see. He says, I had a lovely time last night. Yes, I hope you it was very much enjoyable. It was very much very enjoyable hanging out with everybody in the chat and playing Splitgate with gaming, Stunning Brave Megatron, Chunk the Punk, Joshy, and yeah. So and you'll always be the Teabag King, Stunning Brave Megatron. Gojira star 5477. That is 54 is incidentally, I think, the first Godzilla film, which is called Gojira. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year.
Hold on. Thank you. I gotta let my dog out of the room.
They need to have one called Godzilla Clinton. That would be the scariest of all.
I don't love the game. I literally equated it to one of the 7 circles of hell. But I'm getting tired of dropping shit and having to go sell and pick that shit back up and then if I let's put it this way, if I love the game, I would have been playing it today. But Steph could tell you I haven't been online since.
No, she hasn't.
So, Devil Flyer. Hello, Jade. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Devil Flyer. Also, Rex Christian. Also, Momentum. Hello. Well, thank you so much, Lucamus Prime. Just subscribe. Thank you so much. Making sure I say hello to everyone.
He typed that 10 minutes ago. Let's go.
I'm trying to get through the chat. I'm trying to say hello to everyone. You also sent us a $1.79 super chat. You're both phenomenal. Thank you so much, Lucas. I'm trying to get through the chat.
Yeah, but they're posting news stuff as
I'm not on Twitter.
No,
the elbow pop. Yeah, the dab. Yeah. It says I teabagged him too. If that makes you feel better, well, I guess it does. Stunning Brave Megatron. Let me make sure. Okay, $5 super chat from Heath Nation. I say hello and happy 2022 to the most beautiful duo on YouTube. Love you, ladies. Thank you so much, Heath Nation. Is it catch up? I'm trying. Jeremy Swiggs. These ladies put Trey in the upper position. Jeremy Swiggs. I have to get. Target didn't have the stupid frames. I need specific sizes for the frames for what Sunny and Brave Megatron gave me. They were out, so I have to wait till they come in. Metalong, hi, can't say, but hello, and hope everyone has a great year, at least better than last year. Thank you so much, Metalong, and hope your year is great as well. Tim F, Hail, Mara, and Steph. Good to see you, Tim F. I'm getting there. Another $5 Aussie super chat from Lethal Lightning. Cobra Kai needs to take its own advice and be quiet. If he weren't a mod, he could be timed out, but he's a mod. And Maxfield Von Priestley. Hey everyone, hello, good to see you. And I got Boss in the chat. Speaking of being mistaken for a porn star, hello. Porg. Do you think Robin was when he banged Tori? Well, they never showed that, but you have to assume that they did. So.
Well, if it was
there it is. Okay, I finally got to the end. All right.
Oh, I think they banged.
I got a wrench on Stephanie's channel by threatening her.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I said.
Yeah, and you're very proud of that too.
Yeah, because I did the same with Nina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
The week after.
I had to right back to let my dog out of my room.
Yeah, said I would kill off her D&D cat or something. And she sat there with her hand over her mouth for a minute, and then all of a sudden I had a wrench.
She was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly like that. And she was thinking pros and cons, probably.
She's like, where's his name? So, let's see.
He's also threatening my pets and Conan D&D now, because my pet is now kidnapped. Thank you so much.
Your pet is kidnapped.
Yeah, that's because I saw a cooking show about, they made some meat stew, and I was like, oh, Mara's D&D pet.
Yeah, that's what I deal with. That's what I deal with. But anyway, all right. So let's get into talking about Cobra Kai season 4. All right, so it basically picks up where
Hold on,
season.
let me. I want to pull up all of the episodes really quick so we can talk about each one.
Okay. Well, basically, while you're pulling it up, basically the season 4 picks up where season 3 kind of left off, where you at least see it on the opposite end of Kreese's call at the end, where you find out, well, surprise, surprise, he calls Silver, Cherry Silver, and you get what the end Silver's call and end of call is like, and what Silver's life has been like since the events of Karate Kid Part 3. Which is, I have some words for that, because I was like, that's not Silver. That's not Silver. That's so.
Yeah, but you know what? I actually really like what they did.
No, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying it's like, it's like he was trying to be different from what he is actually, basically. And I think, it's like what we saw in the season, like after he finally, rejoins Kreese, it's like that. Okay, that's Silver. He was lying to himself previously, basically. Like maybe he wanted to change genuinely, but at the same time, it's like I'm looking at the people he's hanging out with, and I'm like, yeah, you're kind of lying to yourself at this point.
I loved it when they made fun of tofu and vegan diets and shit.
Hello.
Because that stuff's not cool.
No, and the one guy made my eye twitch when he called karate adorable, and I was like,
adorable.
No, it's not. No, martial arts is not adorable.
He had the soy boy look too.
Yes, he did.
Oh, very much so. But I really liked the beginning where it shows, the two senseis with the students and the two styles of teaching that they had and how they kind of conflicted. And when they were fighting each other, Johnny was kind of being playful, Daniel's being serious. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed both of their style techniques and kind of trying to come together in doing that. And that it's not going to last. They're going to clash at some point, and they do. But when I love the introduction to Terry, because he what's his name? Why can't I? Kreese, Kreese calls Terry. He calls him just like he did the last time. And what does Terry do? He hangs up the phone. He's just like, nah, you meet. He's at peace. Like, he's at peace. We learn later on that he had hit rock bottom after what happened in part
3.
In part 3. And it kind of almost makes fun of part 3, because it's like, dude, I spent like a summer like torturing a teenager.
Yeah, I was like, I thought that
I was hopped up on cocaine. I was, doing all of these dumb things. And like after that, after you left, I hit rock bottom. Like, nah, I'm done with that. I'm at peace. And you can kind of see Kreese and his how manipulative he is. And I had said this the other night. You can see Kreese and how manipulative he is, and his way of like looking at you and judging you by just a look, because and the way they play off of each other it's brilliant. I love that they kind of came back into these roles like they never left. Like the Karate Kid is like on fucking part 20 now. Like they came back into these roles like they never left them, and it's amazing to see. And you can see them playing off each other, because you can see Silver reacting to like how Kreese is judging him and judging how his life is right now. He has absolutely no reason to feel sorry for the life that he has right now, but you can see him kind of doubting himself and doubting everything else that he's built. And so I absolutely love how they play off of each other in that moment when Kreese comes back into Silver's life. He kind of makes Silver like look around and be like, well, Jesus, I left all of this behind. He's happier now. He's almost like at peace. But then here comes Kreese. And we later on in the season, and we'll get to it, I absolutely love the conflict between the two. And you can see it, it's there in the background. If you can see it, it's there in the background. I love it.
Like you knew it was going to come to a head by the end of the season.
And basically. You can see why Silver is almost like a manipulative mastermind of the Karate Kid lore, I guess, because he was my favorite villain in all
Silver
of the
is a
movies.
Psychopath.
He is absolutely. And I absolutely love his character. I love Silver. I mean, yeah, he spent a summer terrorizing a teenager. He's crazy.
Yeah. We can't just blame the drugs on that. The fact that we're seeing him now not on drugs and reverting to his psychopathic state, he truly is a psychopath.
Absolutely. And when he came back, I like how it has like his little girlfriend. She's like, "Get me this out of your wine cellar," and he's down there, and he says, "Asa!" Oh man, when he said that, when he did his little kick. And he did Asa, I was like, dude, it's like you never left the role.
Yeah.
It was so freaking awesome. And he's just like, I still got it. But I really like that. You have two senseis, Daniel and Johnny, and they're getting along, right? In this first episode. And then we have the other two. And you think that, oh, he's gonna go with it. He's gonna go with it. But they're not. They're at odds. They're clashing. He has to be forced back into it, manipulated back into this world by Kreese. And it's amazing. That first episode already just drawing you in.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's like Stig described him as a soy boy, and like he very much is. That one character described it as like karate as adorable, and I'm just sitting here as the martial arts I did was like judo and aikido, which is like not karate, but at the same time, martial arts in itself is not adorable. So basically, if you say that to a martial arts student of any, like school, like training, whether it's karate, judo, or aikido, and you call it adorable, yeah, we'll kick your ass. Pretty much, it's not adorable. It's not adorable to us because it is a way of life, and we see that, and how Silver is drawn back into that way of life, and we see and becomes but now we see him truly as a psychopath he is. Like I said, you can't.
I don't necessarily think he was drawn back just because someone said it was adorable, but I think that
I'm saying
there's always that he knows that there's always Kreese knows that there's that like hunger in him. There's that like lurking demon inside of Silver, and he's taking advantage of that to get what he wants.
Well, I'm not saying that line is like what draws him back in, but at the same time, it's one of the, for a better word to come up with, triggers, because that's like what kind of starts making him looking around, but he hasn't fully, he's not fully listening to Kreese until he actually goes to the Cobra Kai dojo and confronts Kreese, and that's where Kreese.
Oh no, I think he heard. I think I think he heard every word that Kreese told him when he went to his house and visited him. Because right then and there, just like I was telling you, with just the looks that Kreese was giving Silver, it had him doubting everything.
No, I'm not saying he was ignoring him. I'm not saying he was ignoring him. He was hearing the words, but he was choosing to try to ignore them until he got to the dojo and he's like back in his element, his true element.
But why did he go back to the dojo?
Yeah, the dojo,
yeah, but why did he go back to the dojo?
Because he was in denial up until that point. He was in denial because he was like, I have a good life. I'm at peace. I'm this. I'm that. And Kreese is like, no, you really are not necessarily at peace because I know who you really are. That life is not you, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, that's when we finally see him cross that threshold into becoming the Silver that we know. Because up until that point, he's trying to fight it as best as he can, but he's trying to fight going back. And he wants to go, and he thinks he's going to go back to confront Kreese and say, no, I'm not going to join you. But in fact, in actuality, no. Once you cross the threshold of the dojo,
I think he crossed that threshold once he put his hair in a ponytail. And he started ignoring his
isn't that after he talked to Kreese?
That happens after he talked to Kreese, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm saying, but like the one of like the final steps was him going to the dojo, and I'm like, now you're back in your element, and he's realizing that when he's like, you see him looking in the mirror, and he pulls out that ponytail holder, and he puts his hair in a ponytail. He's now realized it. He's like, I can't deny this anymore. He's ignoring his girlfriend at this point, and he's taking in the words that Kreese has told him, and now he's like, he puts his hair in a ponytail, and he's like, Silver's back. Up until that point, he's fought Kreese as best he could, or tried, but there really was no denying it. There really was no denying it at that point.
I think that Kreese
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yes, we'll get to that.
I think that Kreese was already being manipulated by. I'm sorry, not Kreese. Silver was already being manipulated by Kreese the moment that he came to his house and started judging him, judging his friends, started getting into his head. He was already in his head. That's why he kicked over the wine glass, because he was like, I still got it, and then he went into the dojo and they had their little argument, and Kreese was like, what's wrong, you rusty? And he showed him like, I'm not rusty, never been, never better. And after that is when he has, and this is episode 2 now, so after that he has this flashback back to them starting up the dojo, and Kreese is telling him like, hey, he has that flashback. He's thinking back and he's like, I can't do this without you. And they're best friends. They are best friends, but his father wants him to take over the business or he's going to cut him out of the inheritance. And he's like, hey, I'm always going to be there for you. I'm always going to be there for you. And that's when they first technically say Cobra Kai never die. And so he once again comes back, not because he was manipulated, because he was manipulated into coming back, but also because he feels like he still owes this man something. He owes it to him still because of how he saved his life. And it even shows him like lift up his shirt, and the Cobra Kai tattoo that he got on his ribs, he had it removed. He didn't want any part of that anymore. That part of his life was over. But later on we find out like exactly why Kreese keeps coming back. And why there's this turn there, and why there's this turn between the friends as well. But I think that's why. One, he was manipulated by Kreese, but two, when you see that and he's looking at himself in the mirror and he's remembering like, I owe this guy, I owe him, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to try and do it the right way. Because he was telling Kreese like, dude, we went about it all wrong. We need to do it differently. We need to learn from our mistakes. So he's like, I'm going to go back, but I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to do it, all this underhanded shit like we did before. So that's what I think. I think he went back to, finish what he started, maybe doing it a little bit differently because he owed it to Kreese, but also because Kreese got into his head.
Mm-hmm. And $5 super chat from Mike Kills. I was surprised how epic the fight between Robbie and Eli was. Yes. That's basically like I was saying earlier in the chat, or on the chat in the stream, that I love how it ended up being Eli versus Robbie versus Miguel, because I think that would have been a little too obvious if they had that fight between those two, considering like what they built up with between those characters in the season. But the fact that they had it between Robbie and Eli, or Hawk as he was known for a while, I think had much bigger impact, especially with Hawk's character and Robbie's, because we saw him having a really strong emotional moment at the end. Like he's turning. I think
all of them, almost every single important character in this show has an epiphany. A moment.
Yeah, an epiphany, a moment.
Has a moment. Everybody gets their own moment. Everybody gets their own moment of growth in this show. And it's really interesting to see. What did you think about the second episode where we find out that Daniel's son, who we really don't see a lot of, we haven't been seeing a lot of Daniel's son up to now, and how he's practically like Johnny Lawrence. He's a bully. But his father thinks that he's being bullied by someone from Cobra. What did you think about that? Because like when I first saw that kid and I was like, who the hell is this kid? Why are we being introduced to a new character? We already have so much going on,
I liked because I think for like the first 3 seasons, like the son wasn't exactly pushed to the side, but he was always seemed to be like, just there. Like,
yeah,
he's
a background character.
Little shit, but he's just there. There's really not much to him. And I kind of appreciate it because in a way it kind of plays into sort of the psychology of all the characters, where like now you're realizing that this is him acting out in a way because of the focus that Daniel's been putting just on like Sam and the dealership and so forth, where it's like now he's like, well, fuck, it's like he has no outlet other than the electronics that his parents buy for him. He has no like his friends are little shits too, and it's like that's like him in a way acting out.
I like that.
And he's picking on the character that's doing exactly the same that he does, playing the same video game, and they're in the same situation.
Yeah.
So he's almost like he's attacking himself, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said, it's
projecting.
Like, projection. It's like him acting out in a way because like he feels like he can't go to his parents because they're focused on other like life, business, Sam, like whatever you name it. It's like he's kind of like been pushed into the background, and it's like it's I can not being the oldest. I don't know what it's like to be like a middle child or anything like that, but I can imagine like when the attention is focused on the other siblings or not on you, or you feel like you're being left out, you tend to like you tend to like either like take out your anger at someone else by projecting it onto others or onto yourself in a way. And you see him like he doesn't really want. I mean, he is a bully, but at the same time, it's like he's more being instigated by his little shithead friends at times than himself, basically.
Yeah.
You see that he does know. You see that he does know right from wrong. So you see like the conflict in his face, but he kind of takes a little bit of pleasure in picking on this kid. Especially when he's going after, or he's not really going after this girl. Like the girl is just being friendly with all of them, but he has a crush on this girl. He's kind of like, oh, I'm going to go at it harder now because he's trying to get something that I want. You can see that he's a spoiled brat. He's a spoiled little kid. And I like the fact that, he's been in the background this whole time. Practically every time we saw his character, he had an iPad. He was on a phone. He wasn't doing much in the story. He was always just in the background. Even Johnny was like, holy shit, you're the son. Like he's never even seen the son, And so I really like that, the fact that like they didn't just have him come into the season and be like, oh yeah, Daniel's going to teach his son and his son's going to be just like his daughter and he's going to be so good at karate. No, he's not. In fact, like not at all. He has no interest in it. Absolutely none. And he goes, and so I like that, they made him into a little shit. He's acting out. He's a bully to this one kid. And the fact that like we've only ever seen him with an electronic in his hand, and then it turns out like, oh, well, this acting out is because he's always, they gave it a name. I can't remember what they called it, but yeah, he's acting out because of this.
You're talking about when the when like what's his name, Louis' like cousin or sister or something like that, like drops all these like terminology on the shows. And it's like, and you see the looks on their faces like, go talk to like no,
I really like that. I like that, the fact that like they didn't just bring him in and make him another LaRusso. He's actually not really interested in that.
Thank you for the $5. I think the name is Kenny, but like Anthony basically created like his bully in a sense by picking on this kid, and like what kind of like the vicious cycle. What Anthony did created a bully, and now that bully's focused back on him basically. So
I would like to point out though the scene with when Daniel visits Lawrence and Lawrence offers ham.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
And like Daniel's like, even I would be like, yeah, no, I'm good. I mean,
you know what? There's nothing wrong with that because I've done that 100 times. I have like a pack of ham when I'm watching 80s movies. I do that.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. So when the liquid dripped out, I would be like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I know the liquid dripped out on the carpet and everything. He's just
it happens. You're lost. It happens.
You're lost, and he just chucks it in his mouth. You want some ham?
Yep. I've done that hundreds of times.
It's a totally normal thing to offer a guest ham.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, yeah, this guy's my spirit animal. He does what I do.
I'm going to think it's a spirit animal for a lot of people, pretty much. $10 super chat from Epstein's Ghost. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, guys, and chat. Steph, you killed with Ripa and G&G's. I don't know. in G&G.
With
By the
Ripa
way,
and
wouldn't a
G.
Jabba throne room dinner or a VR pod race? They should be cool. Any ideas up your sleeves that Star Wars will fit? Well, Star Wars is saved. Haven't you heard? There's a civil war going on in Lucasfilm that apparently Favreau and Filoni won, and Kennedy's
I
out for
I
the
can
millionth
give you
time.
a prediction about what's going to happen. People are going to bash it, the Book of Boba Fett, all the way up until we get CGI Han Solo and Chewie, and then it's going to be saved again.
Oh God, I'm not even watching it. I have no interest in it at all.
They basically turned Boba Fett's his early character arc, like when he act that during that period, into Talon Card. It's like they removed Talon Card from the canon and gave his character personality to Boba Fett, which doesn't work. That's what they fucking did. Anyway, yeah, crackhead have come up with better ideas than Disney. But like I said, it's like a lot of characters, even characters that like Anthony, the son, that got pushed to the side in the season, all have their moments to shine and grow during this season. And I think we're going to be all over the place when we bring this up, but Brian King wanted our thoughts on Tori. Because Tori, she had a kind of like a Johnny Lawrence moment in the final fight when she was going up against Sam. So you remember in the first part 1 of Karate Kid, it was just Karate Kid before the sequels, basically. I know G&G's Geeks and Gamers, but I wasn't sure what you meant by Ripa and the N in Geek. I don't know what you meant by that. I know G&G stands for, but anyway. And Karate Kid, before the sequels, before they were planned sequels, Johnny Lawrence gets down on the mat and asks LaRusso, "Are you okay?" after he's taken out his leg.
No, he says he apologizes to Daniel. Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I know, but you see in Tori's face at when she hits Sam, when Sam is down, Sam's lost. She's like, "Are you okay?" That's kind of like her way of almost apologizing, because she's had her own little epiphany moment when she's talking to Silver and Kreese, because Silver's telling her to fight dirty. Sam's mom has asked her to fight fair.
I don't see it that way at all. In fact, I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I honestly didn't see it like that at all. I didn't see it like that at all. In fact, I was actually really mad at Sam's mom, at the mom. Right before she comes and fights, she's like, "All right, I helped you. Now I'm cashing in."
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saying
I'm actually mad at that, because it's like I've helped you. You're going to all this stuff, almost reminding her like what I've helped you with can be taken away. And just, you know what I mean?
It came off as that.
It came off as that. What I've helped you get with your family, it can be taken away. So I'm going to cash in on my favor, and I want you to make sure that Sam doesn't get hurt. And that's why she was like, "Are you okay?" Because she's worried about her family. That's how I took it. And I was actually like, "Are you kidding me, lady? Are you freaking kidding me?" That's how I took it.
Tori didn't fight dirty, though. So the elbow thing was an accident.
It was, but you could tell that she was worried about it. She's like, "It was an accident. I didn't mean to." Because the mom had told her, make sure she doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I thought it was shitty that, that they had Tori win by Silver having cheated, because Tori deserved to win too, and she fought fair in that one. But it's but I think even though it's
okay, that's a Bobby moment. I was mixing up the names. It was a Bobby moment, because Bobby's the one that got down and said, "I'm sorry." That was a Bobby moment.
Yeah,
for her.
Yeah, it's also good writing, though, because there's a lot of gray areas. Which makes it fun to discuss.
Yeah, I guess it could be interpreted a couple of ways, but that's how I took it. Like, I didn't. I thought it was a little bit slimy of her to come and talk to her right before she went on to fight.
I'm not taking anything away from the mom.
If that conversation had taken place like before the competition ever started or whatever, then all right, let's whatever, or not at all. I preferably not at all. But I
All
was just kind of like, that's a little shitty because she's gonna have that in the back of her mind now while she fight. She's almost, the mom has almost like psyched her out before she's fighting a little bit, because you don't want someone to remind you about like everything that they've helped you with, and now they're cashing in on a favor like that. That's kind of that's underhanded and slimy. Like, she doesn't need to be reminded of that. She lives with that every day, and just it almost came across to me like a psych out, like this mom is psyching her out so she would lose. Because if
also the actress who plays Tori, she's tremendous. But
oh yeah,
while I was watching it, it struck me that hey, Netflix, that's the one you should have cast for Red Sonja, because she can do action tremendously, and she's a redhead.
I want to first off, I want to say real fast, Bragg Pearson, a $10 super sticker. It's a corgi saying good luck. So thank you so much for the super sticker, and I want to say like thank you before I forgot about that. So
yeah. Anyway, that there should have been Red Sonja, not the brown-haired lady they cast.
Going back to episode 2, did you guys like the training between, or the two cent Johnny and Daniel learning each other's style?
Yes,
I thought it was neat.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
I love that montage. Like, especially, I mean, I appreciate like what Daniel was teaching Johnny, because like it's like a special place with Miyagi and so forth from like the Karate Kid trilogy. But then when you get to Johnny's, okay, now you're gonna learn my style.
Yeah.
I love that montage.
Which was better. He had better training.
I know.
He did. He had better training. I was like Daniel, fucking wake up. Like, he actually has something to teach you, pretty much.
Which was, you know what? I felt that was the message of the whole season, that learn from each other, but don't forget yourself in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was all about this, teaching is right, this is right.
Like my way versus your way, rather than our way, or finding like a good blend of the two. Which is what trying to get her dad and Johnny Lawrence to do. It's like, hey, you both have good styles, and your styles actually blend together, but you're too stubborn to see it.
Rather learn from others, but don't forget to have yourself in there.
Which was the final lesson of Miyagi, which is what you see later on. And
which is and Daniel's daughter figured it out by herself.
Yeah. Yeah, and Daniel finally realized it, because he's like, like Miyagi's telling him, yeah, you learn from me, but you got to find your own style, your own way, like your own, basically karate. It's like don't just focus on my teaching. Like that, I'm teaching you what I was learned, but you find your own style of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Johnny's second training montage with the Rocky music. When he jumped up and kicked the mailbox and stuff like that?
Yeah.
We did that in the 80s.
Yeah,
I remember that. People, and you would jump up and kick the door open while pulling the handle down.
Yeah. Like, exactly like this, basically, where he like knocks the guy off the scooter. Like the 4 guys just like riding on a scooter, just like knocks them down. It's like, fuck the scooter, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was so funny. That training montage was epic.
It was so 80s. I'm not even kidding.
Oh yeah. Down to like him wearing the headset or like whatever he was.
Oh, and he has his Johnny badass mixtape 4. Mm-hmm. It's like actual like cassette tape.
A cassette, and he's like wearing the gray pants and everything. So stuck in the 80s. I loved it. I like the
shit like that happened. It's accurate.
I liked how they teach each other their training.
The Walkman, where he's carrying around the Walkman, is like Johnny's badass mixtape, basically. So
yeah,
I like that they teach each other. What?
You can buy Walkmans now. They've come back, and you can. I think you can record songs through Bluetooth on them. I'm gonna get one, by the way.
I have no doubt that you are.
I have a Cobra Kai headband too.
I believe it.
But
his montages were just epic, and again, like it's like Daniel Miyagi still comes back to kind of smack Daniel in the head in this season, and so like it's like you heard the words, but you weren't listening to me, and now you finally are remembering the words.
That was something that was missing in this season, because we had a lot of Terry and a lot of rivalry, a lot of Cobra Kai, Eagle Fang, Miyagi-Do conflict with the students as well as the senseis, and what was missing was that Miyagi teaching, and it kind of finally happened with Tori. It looking back now, it like began with Tori, right? That's the name of, what's the name?
Yeah,
of
like the
Daniel's daughter.
No, Sam is Daniel's daughter.
Sam, and it began with Sam, not Tori. I'm sorry, and began with Sam because like in episode 3, it showed them like they were learning each other's styles, but then they swapped students, and it had like Daniel teaching Miyagi-Do to Johnny's students, and then the Eagle Fangs were learning from, or no, Johnny's teaching Miyagi-Do. So it began with Sam because she was the only one to take that leap of faith, which was so dumb, but so Johnny to do that. The kids had to like jump from one building to another building, and if they fell, the only thing that were to catch them were like
these mattresses that are like
rusty old mattresses at the bottom of 2 buildings, and they were like, what? And it was really more of like, I really think that I don't think he expected them to jump, right? But she did. At the very end, she did, and she was sort of overcoming that sort of like uptight priss that she was, and sort of realizing like, all right, I do need to learn both sides. I can't be just learning from my dad because I do need both of these things. And there's something that she was trying to tell.
Of a bitch.
Oh, she's a bitch. Yeah, she's a bitch in this episode or in the season.
Yeah.
But it begins with Sam, that sort of lesson, and her moment of clarity almost, because she's later on we find out that she's like doing secret lessons with Johnny. And realizing like I do need both styles. I need both styles in order to make me better as a competitor. So I liked that arc with her, but she is a bitch. She's still a bitch.
Yeah, like because it's. I mean, I get partly where she's coming from, because you do have that. Her scars reminding her of what Tori did. Tori's not exactly like didn't exactly get off on the right. Neither one of them got off on the right foot proverbially with the other one, basically. But then you have Sam with her scars, like looking at them constantly, remembering that fight in the school that like ended season 2, essentially. So I get where Sam is coming from, but at the same time, it's like
Queen Bee syndrome.
Queen Bee syndrome. Like you're kind of missing the point of like what you're being taught. You're kind of missing the point of even what your friend Aisha, I think it's her name, Aisha, who kind of has like one scene or part in this, but it's kind of a crucial part in this episode. But you're kind of missing, I mean, the overall point. And then like when she confronts Tori as like, okay, you just sealed it. You just fucking sealed it. Like you couldn't shut your mouth for like one day. You had to be B of the like high school sort of situation. I'm not saying she had to like Tori, but like just like she didn't have to confront her either at that point. And she chose to. And like you just set the course, and now it's like it's going to be down to you two and so forth. So
yeah. And I like that Sam wasn't very likable in this season.
No, she wasn't.
Not at all.
She's been a
because she kept talking back to her dad. She was a bitch to Tori, and yeah, Tori is a bitch to her, but like you find out more about Tori and why she has so much anger. She doesn't want to hear it. She thinks that Tori's manipulating her parents and her mom. She doesn't want Tori in her house. She doesn't listen. Like she herself is trying to learn all these lessons, but she doesn't listen either. So I like the fact that she lost at the tournament. She wasn't anybody that I wanted to root for, because why? Tori, she's training really hard, but she's training hard to beat someone for all the wrong reasons to me.
Tori is basically a good kid, but she has rage issues.
Yeah, because she has so much on her
That's
plate.
basically what it is.
Yeah, and saying, and like I said, I'm not expecting necessarily Sam and Tori to be BFFs or anything like that, but at the same time, it's like Tori really wasn't confronting Sam. Tori wasn't doing anything. It was Sam the whole fucking time getting in Tori's face. I'm like, you're now. Now it's like I felt sorry for Tori, but now I'm almost rooting for Tori at that point because it's like you just let it alone. Just like save it for the tournament. Essentially, is what the what Sensei would tell you. Save it for the tournament. Don't take out your aggression before the tournament, sort of situation. But Sam, Queen Bee syndrome, not listening to her parents, thinking Tori's lying to them rather than actually just maybe, because we, the audience, know that Tori's not lying. Tori has a shit life. She literally has a shit life. And she said like so much on her plate with her mom, with taking care of her brother. And now we find out she has a leech of an aunt who's now threatening that when Tori's mom passes away, guess who's going to get custody of you, sweetheart? And guess who's going to get the money that your mom would be getting from like whatever to take care of you? Yeah, that's right. Like this bitch here. Yeah. So Tori is basically she's getting it from like all sides. She has not had a good life. So you sympathize with her. You sympathize with her, and then like when Sam does that, it's like now you're making me root for Tori. I'm not saying like we hated her or anything like that, but now I'm rooting for her.
And that's why I didn't like the fact that the mom came and talked to her before she fought in the tournament.
Yeah, because the opposite advice that Sam actually gave her. Yeah, so like she did not listen. Yeah, sorry.
Here's the thing, though. Tori is the underdog, not Sam.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we, Karate Kid is about the underdog, and Tori is the underdog.
Yeah,
Sam has everything going for her. Rich parents, a karate master that's her dad. Everything is just handed to her.
Yeah,
Tori has nothing.
And like really, like Tori's like really only negative is like her rage issues. Because she had no clear outlet, she had no parental figure she could look up to. It's like like her dad left or whatever. She's taking care of her brother. Her mom's on disability, so her mom can't support them. She has to support both of them and go to school. And
Here's
now
a twist. What if Barnes is her dad?
I was thinking that.
Yeah, but that'd be like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Too convenient?
Yeah, it'd be too convenient way to bring him in. It's like, oh, by the way, conveniently, Mike Barnes is her dad. I'm like, I don't think it works.
He could be Miguel's dad, too. Who knows?
Miguel, I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Again, a little too convenient.
I don't think he is Miguel's dad. Not at all. There's potential there for him to be Tori's father, just because they hinted that you have rage issues just like your father, and Mike Barnes is the bad boy of karate. But I don't think that. I really don't think that he would be her dad. I think that would be incredibly convenient, and I wouldn't like that. I would not like that. But going back to Tori and what I was saying, it's like that's why I really didn't like the mom when she came to Tori before she fought, because here you think that like when her mom finds out about Tori's life and how bad she has it.
Oh, didn't Bobby die? Wasn't Bobby the one who died?
Bobby died, yeah.
Yeah, like he couldn't be Tori's. Well, even then he couldn't be Tori's dad. He's a little too old. But anyway, go ahead.
Again, just doing that, it would be incredibly convenient. I don't like that everybody's related to everybody. That would be so dumb.
It would be awesome if it was revealed that Miyagi is everyone's dad.
Oh my god.
He's shagged the whole town.
But anyway, but Barnes being related to Tori would be just a little too convenient way of bringing him into the show.
Yeah.
I'd rather be like more of just I guess as organic of a way as they could to bring him in without it being like a plot contrivance. Like, oh, like by the way, Mike Barnes happens to be Tori's dad, and that's why she has rage issues. It's like, no, I don't really, I can't see. I mean, I can.
It's too much.
I don't like it. So
it's too many parents.
Yeah, like it's basically, a little bit. Like it's enough that like just that, like, Sam and Robbie, like, like both of those spectrums, basically. Like, we don't need another kind of like parental connection to the trilogy. Essentially, we have enough, in a sense, with what we get with LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence. So, yeah, but like Steve was saying, Tori is the underdog, especially in this season. You find yourself almost rooting for her. Sam's a bit of a cunt because we know Tori's not lying when she goes initially to Mrs. LaRusso for help.
Yeah, Miss LaRusso, she learns about her. She learns about what she's going through, and then she tells her, like, yeah, I know. She sees her daughter harping, or not but picking on her while she's working, like she's at her job.
Yeah.
And you see that she's watching this. She doesn't take her daughter out of there. She doesn't say go home. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't help her in that moment, right? But she's watching her daughter pick on this girl while she's at work.
Yeah.
And then, later on we find out that she told Daniel, but she didn't get scolded for it at all by her mother. Her mom just watched it happen. And then she's like, you should accept help, come and ask for help if you need help, because she quit her job. And that's why I'm just kind of like, why would you try and come into this girl's life, offer her help, and then right before she's about to fight, be like, oh, I'm glad everything's working out. Good for you. I'm cashing in my favor now.
When she said that, I was like,
that was so awkward for me. That whole process, that whole thing with Daniel's wife, it was so awkward with her and Tori. It was so weird for me. I just didn't like the feel of it. I thought that she was being genuine, and she probably is. I'm probably interpreting it wrong completely, but that's why it didn't feel right to me when she came.
I think she was
before she fought her daughter.
Yeah, I think she was being genuine, but when she said, I'm kind of cashing in a favor, it's like, you didn't need to say that. You didn't need to say that as if you're kind of holding it over Tori. It's like, hey, like you said, like, I helped you, like, find help for your mom and things like that. And it's like almost like, in a way, a subtle way of saying it could be taken away from you just as easily, sort of situation. But I don't think she necessarily meant it that way, but it can be interpreted that way.
And that's how I interpreted it.
All she would have had to do is say, it's like, I don't expect you to take it easy on my daughter. I just hope that you will fight fair. Oh, that's all she had to say. If she said anything.
No, she didn't even have to mention her daughter. She could have just been like, I'm really proud of you. Good luck. Yeah. She didn't have to mention her daughter at all. She didn't have to mention her daughter at all. She could have just said, like, I'm proud of, because there's never really been anybody in Tori's corner. She could have been that person. She could have been that person in her corner, and she didn't even have to mention Sam. She could have just been like, I got this update. Good job. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Good luck. And she could have had someone in her corner, but that's not what happened. She ended up bringing up, like, I'm really proud of everything you're doing, or not even saying that she's proud, like, good job doing all of this. And she's like, yeah, I owe you one. Well, good. I'm going to cash in right now.
Hey,
that's how I interpreted it.
It's like I'm saying, like, we'll find out in season 5, but like a lot of it's like Steve said earlier, it's like so much gray area. They can be interpreted in different ways, and then it'll be expanded upon in the coming season. And that's what I love about the show, is that we can have these discussions where it's like not so black and white with these characters, because they could go really in either direction at this point. Like Tori, how it ended with her character. And like that little revelation she sees, and he goes like, well, is she going to say anything? What's she going to do? Is she going to go back to Cobra Kai? Like, that's what she knows. She's not exactly going to go to Miyagi-Do because she hates Sam in a way. So
I think she's going to do that in the next season.
She might, but not right away. But I'm saying it's like at the same time, she's now in, like, has a little bit of conflict, because now we'll get to the end. She saw something where it's like, I don't deserve this trophy.
Actually, I think she's going to join Eagle Fang, because
she's going to join Eagle Fang. I think
she's going to follow her boyfriend, basically.
Yeah, she's going to join Eagle Fang. She was already looking at Silver in that last match where he's just like, telling her to kind of do the wrong thing, and she's just like, I didn't mean to do it. And he goes, hit her in the other eye. Blind her. Just pretend it didn't happen. And she was already kind of looking at Silver like, wait, what? And then to find out that he actually rigged it with the refs,
Yeah.
She's gonna quit. She's not gonna go and learn under him. She's not gonna be Cobra Kai anymore. She's gonna follow her boyfriend and join Eagle Fang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like I'm saying, like it's like that's where it leaves it open with it. Now that like again, like all characters have had their moments. Tori's had had a lot of moments this season, but I think that was her moments where now she's going to break from Cobra Kai.
I love that
Tori
Tori
was
was
early in the season it's going to happen. We don't know, but at the same time, it's like Silver saying that to her, and then her realization that she actually would have lost the match. If she likely would have lost the match if the ref hadn't been paid off.
Yeah, because the that hit when they said she was out of the across the line when it hit her.
Yeah.
That's when the cheating happened.
That was when the cheating happened.
Yeah. Because you even have Johnny Lawrence saying she went out after
they
hit knocked her out. And
she
you're
did.
Like, so, and then we realized, oh yeah, it's like that there was some foul play. Yeah, the ref was paid off, and like Tori's realizing that she didn't win that. It's like she fought fair, but the circumstances with the ref made it unfair, and she wouldn't have won the trophy.
I think she's gonna tell the others about that. She's gonna tell Daniel and Lawrence, and that's how they're gonna get out of that bet thing.
Yeah.
Because if they cheated, they don't have to stick to the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how they left it open.
Yeah, that's going to solve that problem, I think.
Yeah, that's how that's kind of like, in a way, like again, ties to the character and everything, but like a way they were like, oh, like now I can, because if Cobra Kai, if Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do won, then you couldn't exactly call the show Cobra Kai anymore because that's kind of like what the focus was initially in the early seasons. But now when you have that cheating, and with team-ups now with Chosen now in the States and so forth, it's like now they're going to find out and they're going to take down Silver's Cobra Kai once and for all, basically.
That's
what they're going to want to do. That's how they're going to be able to continue the season. So,
do you think that this season with you basically have Cobra Kai, and Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang both kind of being at war, trying to get their narrative into the students' heads? The way of fighting. You have Lawrence on one side, you have Daniel on the other side. Basically, do you think it's a little bit of a commentary on what's happening in the world today, with everything being divisive and nobody actually making up their own mind?
Maybe, but I think it's like
it
more
seems a little bit.
I've never really looked at. I've never really looked at it that way, because Cobra Kai has been extremely surface level for the most part.
Yeah, but this season.
But I don't think
I enjoyed them. I enjoyed how they.
I don't think it's just as simple as they were being so damn stubborn that they weren't listening to each other, and it took Sam of all people to come to the realization before Daniel did, basically, and that is one of Miyagi's final lessons. It's like it's like find your own style, and sometimes your own style is a blend of others, basically.
I don't think it's a commentary on society, because it's never been, like Mara said, it's never really been that deep. Cobra Kai is extremely surface level. And I really enjoyed how anytime there was any sort of wokeness moment in the season, it was always played as a joke almost.
Yeah.
By Johnny Lawrence, like there's really none of that.
It's like they made playful jokes at it, but they didn't attack it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's a sexual. Oh, good. He's a sexual. He likes sex too. he likes sex too. And the way she's like talking about her pronouns is like, there's only two pronouns, student and sensei, and she's like, those are nouns. He's like, quiet, just go in line. Like, who the fuck cares what your pronouns are?
Other line where she's like, are you woke? And he's like, yeah, I'm awake.
Yeah, I'm awake. Yeah. When he's like, I learned all that feminism shit for nothing. Like, they kind of take digs at it. I don't think that it's that deep. I mean, I guess you can interpret it however you want to. But for me, the show has always been very surface level with their characters, the characters doing what they do because of it's very character driven. And I don't think it's really a commentary on society and the divisiveness between going on in society. I mean, again, you can take it how you want to, but I really don't see that at all.
But I just want to answer this real fast. Like maybe, but I like the fact that how the fight was set up, and we'll get into it, is that they realized that Robbie was using Miyagi-Do against them, basically because Robbie was like learning Miyagi-Do before he went to Cobra Kai. So like Daniel had that realization, and he's like, well, yeah. When Eli says he's in Miyagi-Do longer than I have, and Daniel says, well, you were in Cobra Kai longer than he was. Use that against
and right there, that's okay. We'll get to that, but let's talk more about
the feminist girl though. She was actually awesome.
Yeah.
Not Piper. Moon.
Yeah, the Asian one.
The debate.
Oh, yeah, Devin Lee. I think that's the character's name.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
I want to talk more about really, Kreese and Silver, because this season, this was Silver's season. He was phenomenal. He stepped back into the role like he had never left it. Like I said, like there's been like 20 Karate Kid movies, and he's been playing this part forever. He stepped back into it, and I loved it. I loved the episode where they were talking about weaknesses and how everybody has a weakness. And because that's when you start to see the shift in this little friendship that these two have going.
The dynamic the friendship has, basically, because Kreese has been over Silver using their time in Vietnam, and Silver's like, well, no, everybody has a weakness, and you see that shift, basically.
Yeah, you kind of see
that was when Silver beat up Johnny, that was a setup so he could have Kreese expose his weakness, which is Johnny. So Kreese confirmed it to him.
No, I think that he's always known that it's been Johnny. He's always he didn't need it confirmed. He just was he was just poking at Kreese. He's just poking at him. I don't think that in any way. I think that Silver has been. Yeah, he's sort of backsliding a little bit, especially when he gets incredibly drunk, but there's always something there. The wheels in his head are always spinning. And the episode of Weakness was incredible. I loved that episode because, they're incredibly competitive people, especially Kreese. And when they made that bet with their students and then he lost, Kreese lost the bet, and the students were like, Sensei Kreese doesn't have any weaknesses. And he's like, yes, he does. Kreese almost like, excuse me. He
said that. I was like,
that's when Kreese was, I honestly thought that his weakness was going to be like his ego and his competitiveness. But later on, I'm like, he knows what is his weakness. Later on, when he brings in Johnny, it's like, that's always been his weakness. There you go. That is his weakness. It's Johnny. And it's pretty awesome to see, because you start to see, like, the conversations between Kreese and Johnny later on. Kreese is telling him, like, I've always cared about you. I do care about you, which is very hard for you to believe, considering he almost choked Johnny to death.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, Silver completely manipulated everybody, including Kreese, is phenomenal. Because I swear, I was thinking when I was watching the show, I was like, wouldn't it be incredible if, like, fucking Silver just completely backstabbed Kreese and took over not Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai. That would be incredible. That would be phenomenal for that to happen. And it did happen. And Kreese is very threatened by Silver, because Silver he's always been his backer, and now he's buying a lot of stuff for, like, the new students to promote it. Kreese didn't have any of that shit. He's broke. He's a bum. He's incredibly threatened by this guy, and you kind of see him like, is it a bad idea bringing him in here?
Oh, it's definitely a bad idea. In the back of his mind, bad idea. But he
Yeah,
thought
and
he could use
when he
Vietnam.
was
Like, he still
when
has that card in his back pocket. It's like, it's like,
right.
I'm captain, you're your lieutenant sort of situation. But it didn't work.
Right. And when, you can also see him sort of looking at Silver as a threat when, Silver's teaching a class and the students respect him. They respect him. And he doesn't like that because he thinks that he's the only sensei, that deserves that type of ownership, that respect. And I really like that. I like that he's threatened by Silver. And I swear I was like, why the hell are they bringing back Stingray? Like, what is going on here? Why are they bringing him back? And the fact that he was used as a pawn by Silver was perfect, because when he came into the dojo and you see Kreese, his just complete
Silver.
No,
Oh,
when he first came,
when
he initially came into the dojo saying like, I want to come on, let's go. The All Valley's coming up. He's like so pumped because his team needs him. And then Kreese completely rejects him and Silver's behind him. You can like see him like watching this whole thing going down. And he's almost like, why are you kicking him out? Like wondering who this guy is. And then later on, he ends up using him in as a tool in his little pawn to take over Cobra Kai. Was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And I absolutely love the fact that he was just like, I know your weakness. Your weakness is Johnny, and you can see like that whole dynamic just completely change in just a few episodes. And it's perfect. It is perfect. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and even Stingray was like, you could see it on his face when he's telling the detective. And when he's lying to the detective and saying like, you beat him up, he's crying at the same time, because on one hand, he really wants to get back into Cobra Kai, and that's his chance. He really wants to get back into Cobra Kai because that's
because he's a loser. Because he's a loser. He really is a loser. He has nothing going for him. And this is like his only place where he feels included. But in order for him to achieve that, he has to give up his sensei. He has, and this is the guy that taught him. This is the guy that taught him everything. He has to throw his sensei under the bus, and he's choosing, but he's doing what his sensei also taught him to. He's being Cobra Kai. He's doing it. He's being underhanded, just like he was taught. So
so
I loved it. I love it. Absolutely love it.
So all right. So God, there's like a lot to talk about this season. Talk about Tori.
What about Miguel? Let's talk about Miguel. Oh my goodness.
Like, I'm saying that there's a fucking lot to break down in this, because Miguel also is like trying to find himself. Because like he has a lot of like emotional moments, not just with Sam, but like with Johnny, with his mom, and everything like that, and finding out that he's tracked his father down, his real dad down, who is now living in Mexico City.
He looked a bit chubby this season compared to last.
He looked chubby, but I don't think it was so much the chub. I think he just bulked up because he takes his clothes off in this season, and he's ripped. He's got that muscle. So I think he just bulked up a little bit this season too. He's not as lanky as he was before. But also I love the fact that like he has Johnny, who really wants to, he really likes his mom, and they're finally dating in this season. Johnny takes that jump and he's like, look, I don't want to move slow. I want to be with you. But they have to tell Miguel. Miguel doesn't know that. And so Johnny, for a lot of this episode, he's trying, or not a lot of this episode, but a lot of the season, he's trying to bond with Miguel. He thought that they had like this kinship, this little sensei student, but now he wants to kind of like be his dad. And I love the fact that, he's trying to do that, but he's also getting jealous because Miguel is spending so much time with Daniel, and Johnny finds that threatening. And and he's you see that like this episode where he's trying to like make this meal for Miguel because he wants to tell Miguel that he's dating his mom. He Googles it. He Googles, how do you tell your student
the way
that you're banging his mom, and
that
you're banging his mom, and it's so funny. It ends up like pulling up
porn videos, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, and then like I love the fact that like he made this this whole meal, he got it as as well as Johnny can cook, like manwich with beef jerky was
the manwich meal, and he's like not manly enough, and he throws
not manly enough, so he puts beef jerky in it. And then you have his real
I've
son.
actually done that too.
Oh God.
Yeah.
He is your spirit animal for sure. And then you have his actual son show up to his house. Like he's getting this meal ready for someone else's son, and you have his actual son showing up at his house talking about what did he come there for? I can't remember. Was it because of the little kid?
I don't remember. I know he talks to Miguel because Miguel was
not Miguel.
No, I know, but I don't think it was that scene because
that scene. He came back. He came during that scene while he was preparing the meal, and then he left. And then Miguel came home. Okay.
I can't remember what was Robbie saying.
But I can't remember why he came to his house. But he sort of like he was rejected by his son because he slams the door. He's rejected by his son, and now he's making this meal for his other.
I think the conversation was like the son is like it's like Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang, Cobra Kai. Like none of that matters to me. I only like take what I used to win.
I don't want to be like you. That's what the conversation was about. I don't want to be like you. I'm worried about being like you, and I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I have anger in me, and it's because of you, and I'm not going to be angry anymore. And that's pretty much what he came. That's why he came. And he slams the door, and then he's making this meal for this other kid, and he doesn't even get to have that meal with this kid either. But you see like that whole shift, that whole shift that's with Johnny. He's trying to like earn the love of this other son of Miguel when he doesn't really even have it with his own son, and then like later on, like Johnny gets beat up by Silver, and then Miguel comes, or no, before that happens, Miguel finds out that they're dating, that they're banging, because he finds his headband in the mom's bed.
He's like, how
and they're like, don't worry, it's not going to change anything, but it actually does, because now Johnny is like treating him like he's a baby, like he's a kid, like no, you come over here, you're okay, we don't need to, I don't want you to get hurt, he's treating him like a kid. And it actually,
when he did that, I was like, oh, that's the wrong move. That's the wrong move.
It causes some friction between them, and so that changed a little bit. And then Johnny gets beat up, and he gets drunk at home, and Miguel comes over to his house, and he's like, oh my God, what happened? He puts him to sleep, and Johnny is drunk. He's drunk, and he tells Miguel, like, I'm sorry, I love you, I really want to be a dad to you. And Miguel thinks that he's talking about him. And before this happens, Robbie had told Miguel that, my dad's only taking a liking to you because he's trying to fix what he failed at with me. Miguel doesn't believe that. He thinks that like Johnny is genuinely trying to help him. But then that all comes to a head when Johnny's just fucking drunk and tells him like, I really want to be a dad to you. I want to be a dad to you. I love you. And Miguel's crying.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love you. And he's like, I love you, Robbie. And Miguel's just like devastated. You can see that was such a good, he played it so well with the tears and the devastation in his face when he hears that he's not thinking about Miguel. He's thinking about his own son, and like he acted it so well when he's just like, oh my God, like I'm an idiot. He thinks that he's an idiot. Like these are teenagers. You have to remember these are teenagers. So yeah, of course he's devastated. He's just like, oh my God, what is going on? And he doesn't tell. That scene was terrible. I cried at that scene because that scene was played so well. It was acted so well. And later on at the tournament, at the tournament, he's like taking all of these teachings, and he had to go through rehab and everything because of his back. And he's taking all of these memories. He's about to win, and he's thinking about all of his teachings and stuff with Johnny. And then, oh my God, he just hits the floor because he had like a sprain or something in his back.
Well, they say it was like possibly a pulled muscle. And I have to think like, did he actually injure himself, or Was it just more like
Yeah, 'cause
psychological?
you heard the sound.
You
Crack.
heard a sound.
You heard
Yeah.
a sound, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, was it?
It sounded.
I
It
think
sounded
it sounded worse than it
like
actually
Mike
ended up
Hill. Like
being.
Mike Hill for $5. He said the injury to Miguel.
Yeah,
The injury
I'm
sounded
saying it
worse than
sounded
it
worse than
was.
it
It
actually
did.
was.
It sounded worse than it was. I thought that something went
I thought it
out
was
of place or
paralyzed.
something like that. Like he twisted so hard, or he went so
Yeah.
hard that something went out of place. But it's
That's
just
what I'm
like
saying. It's like not that he wasn't injured, but at the same time, was it just the injury, or was it more like every emotion that was going through his head, basically at that point when he's going into that spin, which caused him to be out of focus, and that's why he messed up the move.
A
That's
pulled muscle doesn't make a sound though.
That's true.
But I'm saying it's like, well, that's what they said it was. I'm saying like the sound. So that means like the writers don't know exactly what a pulled muscle sound. Like pulled muscle doesn't make a sound. I've dealt with that. It does not make a sound.
Yeah.
It hurts like fuck, but it doesn't make a sound. And the fact they had a sound was like, oh, did he re-paralyze himself? Basically,
That's
he
what
kind
I
of
thought.
snapped
I
his
thought
neck.
that something went out of place.
Maybe when he got the injury, he heard the back-breaking sound in his mind.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. It's like
possibly.
it could be psychological, where it's
Yeah.
like that's why it
Yeah.
caused him to lose focus. And really, the injury itself wasn't that bad, but at the same time, it's like he has all these thoughts, he has all these emotions, all these thoughts coursing through him that he can't focus on.
Well, he
the
always has. He's always had those types of thoughts coursing through his coming through his mind in like the past seasons when he's like taking that final hit and going for that final thing. So I don't think it was necessarily he was out of focus. I think that he was focused. He was incredibly focused, because that's almost the sign of focus for Miguel when he's fighting is, he's taking all those lessons and memories that Johnny has taught him. That's almost like, yeah, this is he's focused, but his back went out. He pulled his muscle, he couldn't complete it. And then like he yells out for
I don't think he was entirely focused. I don't think
I
he was
do.
entirely
I
focused
do.
because
I really do. Anytime
he
you
did have
see
his
him,
teachings in the back of his mind, but then he had that doubt. He had doubt. He had like it was everything that he'd like Robbie had said to him, everything like with even in a drunken state, Johnny saying "I love you, Robbie," and not talking to Miguel or like how Miguel was taking it. It comes crashing down at that point because
Also he had his dad on his mind.
Yeah,
because
so
he had found him, right?
He's
But
not
it's,
entirely focused at that point. He's not really focused even on the competition. He's has all these things coursing through him, and that's why he decides like I have to go find my dad. Like it's like he's not clear. He's not on a straight path really anymore. He has to find himself, and to do so, in a way, he has to find his real dad because he was lost this season too a little bit because of like what he was. Because he was like getting taught by both Daniel, he was getting taught by Johnny. Johnny's now with his mom. Johnny's trying to act like a dad to him, but Johnny's still focused on fixing the relationship with his own son. It's just everything is coming down on him. I feel like that's why Miguel like wasn't going to finish that competition.
I'd like to point out though that the acting when it comes to the teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
has gotten a lot better since last season. They had really improved all of them.
Mm-hmm. It has gotten a lot better to the point where I actually now finally care about them. Like before, I really didn't like a lot of the kids. Like I didn't care for their drama, but this season, yeah, their acting has improved a lot. I think that the chick who plays Sam is still annoying as fuck. I don't like her character at all. If she's meant to play that, then
she's doing a good job. If she's meant to play it that way.
Yeah, if she's meant to play it that way, then kudos to her, because she's very unlikable. But yes, everybody's acting has improved tremendously in this.
Sam's fighting skills, you can tell that she doesn't do martial arts much.
No, you can't. I agree. Like 100%. I agree. Like with Tori, you can kind of see like, it's not cut so much when she's fighting, but when Sam's doing some sort of move, it's cut. Like
especially
it does
the
a bit of
spins.
jump cuts. Yeah.
When she's spinning and kicking, you can tell that there's no force behind that kick at all.
Yeah. So, but so it's like But yeah, like all like the young characters, all of them each have growth in this episode, like not just like the acting skills, but just like in the character development. And then like, you know, kind of like, I know we're kind of all over the place, chat, when we're talking about the characters, but then it kind of leads into Hawk. He has an arc in this show as well. You saw it in
He annoys
season
the
3.
shit out of me.
Oh
What?
God, I didn't really care too much about Hawk's
It's like,
arc. In fact, it was kind of
how
like a
many-
non-arc.
How many damn times does he have to switch teams?
I know.
He really
know?
only.
Well, it went from Miyagi to Cobra Kai and then back again. And I'm like, come on, pick one and stick with it.
No, he didn't. He wasn't Miyagi first.
No,
He
it was
Cobra
Eagle
Kai
Fang.
first. He was
Eagle.
Cobra Kai first.
He was
Cobra
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. Then he was Cobra Kai, and then he switched to Eagle Fang.
Is she a real black belt? No freaking way she's a real black belt.
Really?
Yeah,
Poor Porg.
but
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up.
but Eli was Cobra Kai first, and he was Cobra Kai pretty much from like season 1 to 2, and into 3. Then he switched sides when he saw like his friend Dimitri being beaten up, and that ended season 3 when he's like there as part of Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do. He didn't switch sides that often.
Still, he annoys me.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know because
I like that he won though.
What?
I like that he won.
Well, I like that he won, but I'm saying I'm looking at this from like a psychological perspective, and in his mind, he thought he found himself. He thought he found himself by creating that persona with the mohawk and everything, because he had been bullied his entire life up until he joined Cobra Kai, then became a badass. So he thinks he's found himself. He thinks he's found his way, but he realizes that he actually hadn't. He was lost. He was like realizing like the lessons he was receiving from Kreese were just about like fucking horrible when he sees what's happening to his friend, like his friend who has been his friend since kindergarten.
She's not. She's not a black belt.
But anyway, yeah.
Sorry, I had to look that up because I was like, "There's no way she's a black belt." She's like, They asked her if she really did karate. She said, "I did not. I know how to throw a punch, but I really don't know any of the intricacies of karate. It's a learning curve, but it's a lot of fun." You can totally tell.
Didn't she play soccer in one episode too? A little bit.
I don't know. I can't remember. If it was in season 1, so I had to go back.
Yeah, I think it was
watch
season
that.
1. You could tell she couldn't do that either.
So, but I'm saying like, you know, it's like, and then when he loses his mohawk, he feels like he's lost his identity. And he
It's
has
like
this friend saying,
Samson.
no, like you haven't. You're still this. You are still this. You haven't lost anything.
I don't
It's
really.
like Samson when he loses his hair, his power goes away.
I honestly didn't really care about Hawk's hair. I like his arc that he had in going from it. I like the arc that he has with his and the dynamic that he has with his best friend, because in season 3, you know, we see that he teams up with his best friend. He switches sides because he doesn't want his best friend to get hurt again.
Yeah.
You know, so he switches teams. He comes back to Cobra Kai. I'm sorry, to Miyagi-Do, and they don't want him there. They're like, "You're a Cobra Kai." And now the Cobra Kais look at him like he's a traitor. That's the arc that I really liked for him, or not the arc, but the conflict. And the fact that he had to sort of, because he came back, he had to prove himself. And because there was already conflict, there's already so much conflict in his life between the Miyagi-Dos who don't want him there, the Cobra Kais who are pissed off at him. He's just like, you know what? Let me prove myself, because he needs to do that. Like, let me prove myself here and show that I want to be here. And he's the start of them making the Miyagi-Do bigger, so that way they have more room to practice. And he's almost the reason why the senseis who were going to quit, they weren't going to do it. He's the reason that they ended up sticking together for the short time that they did before they ended up eventually splitting ways. I really like that. He's the reason for that, because he was just like, I have to prove myself again. Let's come on. We got to come together. And then the fact that like but that doesn't fix everything, because he still has that conflict with Cobra Kai, and he's there getting another tattoo, and then they shave his head and he looks ridiculous. I really don't.
Good thing that Johnny did not let him off the hook. He used him as target practice.
No, that's Dimitri. That was Dimitri.
That was Dimitri.
No, I thought he did something like that for. No, didn't he have him kick his legs or something? It did something to Hawk as well.
I don't remember.
I know Dimitri was target practice because Dimitri landed a hit on Johnny accidentally, because Johnny could.
Yeah, but I think he did something to Hawk at the beginning. Maybe I'm misremembering though.
Well, I'm trying to think.
I have to remember.
He did something to Hawk, but Hawk, I don't think it was target practice necessarily. I think he was just kind of reprimanded. But Dimitri was the one he
tied up
pillows around and like used him as like a punching bag.
Yeah, Johnny made the students sweep his legs.
Yeah, so he wasn't exactly target practice. He just made him do that. But Dimitri was target practice. So
okay, cool.
So
I don't remember. I have to watch it. Oh, you just binged it today, so you know. Thank you, Orange Chat. But like I said, like the hair thing it's whatever. I don't think that is his identity. I think that he's conflicted himself, because he had that hair for Cobra Kai, and the fact that his friend, again, his best friend, had to sort of tell him like, dude, you're not Cobra Kai anymore. Like, who cares about your hair? He had that hair for Cobra Kai. Like, that's his Cobra Kai hair. And again, he's has this internal struggle. I honestly, I love his friendship. I love the friendship that he has. That's what intrigued me about Hawk. Not necessarily like the arc that he had this season, but I love the friendship. And honestly, I think that Robbie threw the fight. I think that he threw it because of that kid that he took under his wing. How that kid is responding to everything that he was teaching him. He thinks that he was teaching him all the wrong things. And so I really think that Robbie threw the fight, and that's why Hawk won. Because I don't like the fact that like Hawk got his confidence from a kiss from a girl. It's almost like he has no confidence and he needs something to make him confident. Like he had his mohawk. That's what made him confident. Now he has this kiss from this girl, and that's what made him confident. I think he still is lacking that confidence in himself. I don't think that he has that yet. He doesn't.
I'm saying like when I said like he thought he found his confidence, when I said like what I meant was like he himself has not exactly found himself yet. He has not realized who he actually is, because he thought his identity was all in being Cobra Kai and having like that mohawk and having that Hawk demeanor. Like he's no longer Eli the bully, he's Hawk the badass sort of situation. And he has like this like moment where it's like he's in season 3 where he finally realizes that he doesn't want to see his friend get hurt. He's now finally seeing Kreese for what he really is in his teachings. And he's like, no, that's realizing that's not me, or that those teachings aren't good teachings to take to heart in this sense, basically. And then when you pick up with season 4, it's like you said, he still has not exactly found really his, I don't want to say true identity, but himself.
Yeah, he still lacks that confidence because he's still relying on
was all tied in external features. His mohawk, Cobra Kai, his badass personality. Like he was bullied, but now he's like not the bullied. He's like he's the bully himself, essentially. But he's realizing that it was all external. He has to find out who he is actually on the inside, and he's like slowly but surely getting to that point. So
yeah, that's what I just said.
No, I'm saying that, but that's what I meant when I said like his identity. Basically, it's like not so much his personality or anything, but that's like it was all basically outside stimuli
Yeah,
where he
and I
thought
think
that
that
was
that's
his
going
downfall.
to. I think that that's going to crumble and fall apart because next season because I think that Robbie threw the fight. I don't think that he. I honestly think that he would have won, but he threw it, and I think that he might find out that Robbie did throw the fight next season,
Mhm.
and that's going to again
I
because he
probably
has those confidence issues that's going to again be a knock on him, a knock to his confidence. Because he,
Mhm.
I don't think that I don't like that he has to rely on outward or external motivations for that confidence. Like he doesn't have it in himself. So he's still building that in him, and I think it's going to get knocked down when he finds out that that Robbie threw the
I
competition.
could
I
see
really think that
Robbie
he threw
throwing
it.
the fight because what like the final match he had with Eli happens after he sees what Kenny does to Anthony.
Yeah,
He's like, "That's not what I taught you."
yeah.
And Kenny's like that's Cobra Kai, and Robbie has this like little like oh my god, like this is what
Yeah.
like this
And
this is
even
what
and even well, he doesn't have that moment until he sees him cheering for him from the sidelines, and because he's still like he took off his shirt and he's
yeah.
still like really going after him, really pulling out all the stops and almost hurting the guy and really fighting, and he doesn't have that epiphany yet until he sees that kid cheering for him, and then he realizes like what the hell am I doing? And that's when I really think that he throws the fight. He throws it.
I think his girlfriend is bisexual.
Yeah,
I
she
think
swings
like
both
it's like, kind of
ways.
like implied basically that she's bisexual. She's not just gay. And he says he went to cool off, but at the same time, it's like he has to come to terms with everything that happened before the fight. Basically, he has to come to terms with how he's been acting, what influence he's had on Kenny with Cobra Kai, and how like that's not what he was trying to teach that kid, but he's seeing that kid become a bully himself, going after his bully and so forth. So when he tells Tori that I'm going to cool off, I think he's really just going to like I gotta like in a way cool off, but at the same time it's like I have to do some thinking and I can't be on the mat when I do this. Basically,
I think he threw it. I really think he threw it.
Kenny
I
is a
think he
little
threw
shit, and he deserved it.
it.
but I'm saying I'm not necessarily like whether or not we find out he threw the fight in season 5 is one thing, but I'm saying like it's like we can't exactly go off of his dialogue because that's what he tells Tori. But at the same time, you take every factor that led up to him losing the match. I could see that. So him just telling Tori I'm going to cool off is probably just saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm fine, yeah, whatever." But he's really not fine because now
No, yeah, he's not fine at all.
yeah,
But
he's not
I
fine at
still
all.
think he threw it. I think he threw it.
Well, we'll find out. But I'm saying it's
Yeah.
like you can't just go
I
off
don't
the
think
dialogue.
I don't think he lost. I don't think he lost at all. I think he threw it.
So, but at the same time, it's like, but then like him saying that to Tori, it's like kind of like what you would say to someone where it's like, don't worry, I'm fine, but you're not really fine, basically, because he had a lot to come to terms with at that point. He had like his relationship, his not relationship with his father, that he's like, when we talk about like his conversation with Johnny at the end, he's coming to terms with that. He's coming to terms with how he tried to be a mentor to this kid who was being bullied, but he actually created a bully himself in kind of doing so and bringing that kid into Cobra Kai and so forth. And
So,
I don't know, like what he learned like from like Daniel and so forth and everything, just like he had to take a step back. And when he did that, he had that clarity.
something just struck me.
So
The when they had the old Cobra Kai show up, a couple of seasons ago, and there was one of them missing, and they said he's in jail somewhere. They can bring him in and have when Kreese goes to jail.
they could.
Barnes?
No, not Barnes. One of the Cobra Kai's. When they did that reunion episode.
Yeah, the one who broke Daniel's leg.
What's his name?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the one that was
Steve McQueen's son, actually, the actor.
Yeah, but because we didn't see him because like one becomes a
Yeah.
pastor, one died because he had terminal illness, and then Johnny, but then there was one that you didn't see because he was in jail.
Yeah. They said he's in jail somewhere.
So
So
you could see him. Yeah, they could bring him back in that way.
Yeah, it might be a way to bring him back. Because Kreese is definitely going to jail for a bit.
Well, definitely. Because
I don't. I'm sorry. Going back to Robbie, I don't think that he was mad. I think he was ashamed of himself, and that's why he walked away. Because he turned into his dad.
The actor for Dutch is not still in jail. He quit acting and started doing racing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna look that up real fast. I'm not doubting you, but let me just look that up and confirm that real fast.
Chad McQueen, I think his name is.
Chad. His name is Chad.
Yeah, Chad McQueen. There he is. Because you don't see him. Racing career.
Except for Barnes, though, him and the chick from Cobra Kai 3.
I'm not saying anything about him being in jail. It says he started a racing career. Personal life, he's married to Stacy Toden.
Yeah.
Then
the actor never went to jail.
Yeah. I'm not seeing anything. I'm pretty sure like they would mention this even in his like Wikipedia article that he went to jail and there's nothing showing up.
Yeah, but as far as the older characters go for the movies, the only ones that haven't showed up so far is the chick from Cobra Kai 3, and the guy I just mentioned, and Barnes.
Barnes.
Yeah. Well, Barnes.
He's that dude. All right, that he has been tweeting a lot of Cobra Kai stuff, so he is definitely coming into season 5.
Oh, he let it slip in an interview that got taken down.
Did he?
Yeah, someone told me about that today. I figured that, you know, when Silver says that, yeah, he can call some friends too. That's probably the hint. Plus, every time, like I said, before a new villain is introduced, you get to see him the season before, basically in flashbacks, and we got to see Barnes. So
we got to see Barnes.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. And you also see it when Daniel's wife is like, "Are there any other Cobra Kais that we need to know about?" And he's like, "No, this is
like,
it."
No. Well, maybe. Well, maybe. Like he's like, and
she's like, "Oh my god!"
That's wrong. Like any like Cobra Kai skeletons in their closet, and he's like, "Oh no!" Like, well, maybe. And like, okay, there's Barnes.
Seriously, kind of almost fourth wall breaking when Johnny was bashing Peter Cetera, and you know, because he's the one who sings the song from Karate Kid 2,
The Power of Love. Yeah.
They were having like a little debate about that.
Peter Cetera. When he was bad, when bringing up Chicago and Peter Cetera, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was like fourth wall breaking almost.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you know, again, same time, one of the themes in the season was breaking the cycle, and you can't break the cycle entirely until you bring in Barnes, basically, because Barnes is part of that cycle in the third movie.
It's interesting because
Barnes have a couple of chumps with him?
What?
Didn't Barnes have a couple of chumps with him?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. Like Snake. Is one of them Snake or some shit like that? I can't remember. But yeah, he did. He did have 2 guys with him that helped him, like, or that
he's like
that
lackeys or cronies, whatever
that were
called
Silver's trainers or something like that, and that he used them to train Barnes. What's interesting though is that I thought that Silver was going to be like the same slimy businessman that he was in episode. Oh my gosh, the Karate Kid 3. I thought he was going to come in and still be that character, and I thought that if and when they ever brought in Barnes, that Barnes was going to be the one that had moved on and had like this better life, kind of like Silver did, and they didn't do that for Barnes, but they did that for Silver, and how he kind of like didn't want to come back, and he was almost manipulated. He was manipulated into coming back. So I thought, anyways, but I thought they were going to do that with Barnes. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep Barnes a fucking asshole, a douchebag, you know, a bad boy. I wonder if they're going to keep that, and he's going to be like, hell yeah, I'll do anything for money, you know, or if he's going to be just like down on his luck and money again will be his motivation, because in the Karate Kid Part 3, money was his motivation for doing what he did, for coming in and fighting. He was an extremely good negotiator as well. So I really think that however they choose to bring him back, money is going to be a big motivator for Mike Barnes moving forward. I really think that. I really think that's going to be a big motivator for him. But what's interesting is that I started being like, because we find out in this season that Kreese is actually we find out that Kreese is actually Silver's weakness, and he's breaking away from that weakness. He's getting rid of that weakness by having Kreese arrested for assault
Removed
and
from the
attempted
picture,
murder. He's removing him from his life. I absolutely love that, because I was like, why did they bring in Stingray? They brought in Stingray so Silver could kick the shit out of him and then say, like, the person that did this to me was Sensei Kreese, and they go and arrest Kreese. And this is going to bring Kreese. I really think that it's going to bring Kreese and Johnny together, and that's how they're going to continue that that, I don't want to say rivalry, but sort of that like distance between Johnny and Daniel, that, you know, they've made it to where they need each other now. You know, Johnny and Daniel have made peace by the end of this, but I think that this is going to bring Kreese closer to Johnny, and now Daniel, again, they're going to have that conflict. That's how they're going to keep that conflict going, because Kreese is going to come to Johnny for help. And they're going to have to, you know, sort all that out. And
if there's one critique I have with the characters, it's like with Daniel, I kind of like want to smack him on the back of the head, like, get over it. The 80s came and gone, pretty much. Stop living in the I'm saying, like, you know, like he's the one who can't let go. He's the one, like, Johnny can't let go either, but Daniel can't let go. And I'm like, let go.
Like, Daniel honestly thinks that, like, those rivalries are still alive. Like with Chosen. Like, they're not. Chosen's moved on, but Daniel's still holding on to that. Yeah. Daniel has a hard time letting things go.
Yeah.
Also, great scene when the feminist chick had prepared for the first class by watching Bloodsport and other action movies. I was like, I was sitting there listening, going, yeah, I've seen that one. That one's great. Like, awesome lady.
She dropped Cynthia Rothrock, and I was like, holy shit.
Yep. Yes. Cynthia Rothrock is amazing.
Holy shit. I like you brought up this line earlier, but I want to repeat it again, where she's like, you know, when she said, my pronouns are she, her, and he's like, you know, the only pronouns in this JoJo are sensei and student. And she's like, those are nouns. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just like, quiet. Like, you see, like, shock on her face because he yells quiet. He's like, get in line. And, like, you're quiet. He's like, that's an imperative. He's like, get in line, pretty much. But she was awesome. Because she was.
She was. At
the final competition, she's like, we need math. This is what we got to do to do this, because we got to take them by the proverbial balls, and this is what we got to do. And Johnny's like, I like that.
I like how he's just like, we don't need math, and he goes, what do we need? Math.
Like, math. We have to get this many points so we have a chance to take them by the balls and win this match. Like, now you're speaking my language. It's like, okay. Pretty much. When he says that, so he like looks at her and she's like, well, if we do this and this and this, we have a chance. Like, she's like rattling this off, basically. Like, she was cool. I liked her. I want to see her back in season 5, basically.
You know,
when he was on point this season.
When they do the final, you know, competition of this whole series, though, I want Johnny's team to win. Because that would be.
Too. Johnny needs
I
to
don't
win.
think Kreese knows this. That's why it's like Silver played the manipulation game perfectly. When the dynamic started shifting, he played that game perfectly.
Now that deal was only if Barnes won, and he didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
that deal was only if Barnes won, and he did not win.
Mm-hmm.
They did say they had material for at least 6 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
I'm hoping that means more than 6, to be honest, because so far it's they're doing a tremendous job.
They
They
are.
really are, but I don't want them to drag it on too long because
I don't want them to overstay their welcome, but they've been so good so far. It's been so great. And the fact that there aren't a lot of episodes, it's just the right amount of story, just the right amount of episodes.
yeah.
They are doing a
I would-
tremendous job.
I'd rather keep watching 15 seasons of this than all the other woke shit that they put out, though.
Well, if they keep doing a good job, then they won't overstay their welcome. But we'll get to a point where it's like, I will say, we'll get to a point where it's like, if Daniel still hasn't moved on from like let go of the rivalries, if it's like this hasn't moved on, this hasn't moved on, it can get stale.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to have to
Yeah.
wrap up in rather short order. But at the same time, if it's like, let's say 6 seasons, like say 7, that'll be like a perfect length of time.
I badly want to see Chosen beat the shit out of Silver, though.
Chosen came back. Chosen came back
Absolutely,
again.
absolutely. That's going to be great. That's going to be fantastic when they go head to head.
You saw Anthony unfurl that method that Chosen taught Daniel, and Daniel's like, "I hope we don't have to use this." But then you see Chosen come back at the end of the episode, like, "Okay, we're gonna bring that move back."
We're gonna bring it.
It could be Chosen has more scrolls up his sleeve too.
Yeah, because he said, like, it's like, like what you learned from Miyagi learned from this dude, and like it kind of like he had that, I guess, split in a way of teaching. So like I learned Miyagi-Do too, but I learned a different style. So he has
there
more
can
up
be
his
all
sleeve
kinds
than
of
what he
stuff.
taught Dan- so he has more up his sleeve than what he taught Daniel when Daniel was in Okinawa. So there's a lot that they could use with Chosen's character in season 5.
Especially since Daniel specified we have to go on the offensive. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, since the guy split with Miyagi, the other style is more offensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which means Miyagi didn't approve of it that much, right? Which would explain the split.
Not approve it or so forth, but basically it leaves it open that we're going to see different techniques than what Daniel learned, and or like just not just from Miyagi, but from what Chosen showed him when he was in Okinawa. Like there's more to it than the small short time that Daniel was in Okinawa, and that's what I'm hoping to see. I was hoping they would bring Chosen back so he wasn't just in one season, and he came back in this final, literally at the end of the season. I'm like, it's about to go down because now you have 3 masters on one side: Johnny, Daniel, and Chosen. Essentially, you're like setting up for Barnes to come back. Silver has manipulated Kreese. Now Kreese is out of the picture, but then not entirely out of the picture because you have that dynamic going on. And Tori having now second thoughts about being Cobra Kai because of what she saw Silver do. And Robbie, we're going to talk about this now, breaking down in front of Johnny, saying, when Robbie earlier said, "I don't want to be like you," but then he like finally admits, like, I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to be angry at you. That's what was driving me, was my anger towards you, and I don't want to be that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a bit of a problem though for Cobra Kai, and I guess season 5, because Robbie's left Cobra Kai pretty much. I'm pretty sure we can agree on that. And I think Tori's going to leave too during season 5. So who does Cobra Kai have left to fight? I mean,
that Asian kid, and I think that they're going to make that young kid more prominent.
Yeah. I think they're going to introduce a couple of new ones.
Because
I think Silver's going to bring in some badasses.
Yeah. Because he's going to be in high school next year. I think that the little middle schooler is going to be more prominent next year. And then you have that Asian kid who looks like he's like
Sato learns from Miyagi's family. I'm saying like there was a split.
Yeah.
So we're going to see more.
But
then when they bring in
needs more villains, basically.
Yeah, when they bring in Barnes is probably gonna bring in more people too.
But then the fact that Silver has talked about basically franchising Cobra Kai. So
more people are gonna want to learn Cobra Kai. More people are gonna want, especially after that big speech after they win. We're gonna open up Cobra Kai. You can learn from the best.
Also, they're commercializing it.
Yeah,
by having
Silver is
stupid...
commercializing it. Kreese never wanted that necessarily, but Silver's the one who's doing it.
Yeah, and the board did too by bringing in that dumbass singer that ruined
Oh
that
my God!
excellent song.
What on
Well,
earth
that
is Carrie
that was like
Underwood
probably the
doing there?
cringe
That
moment.
took me out. Okay, if let's talk about things that we didn't like. That was one of the things that I didn't like. I was like, what the fuck is Carrie Underwood doing here? That was the first
She
thing that
butchered that superb song.
Yeah, I
God.
was gonna say like the moment of truth song. I like, oh, she really singing that? So, fuck.
She sounded like shit karaoke.
I know.
I don't know what the
that took
point of
me out
that
of
was.
it. That took me out of it. The judges, or not the judges, the board, and their whole debacle with like, we need to vote out this
No.
guy. Like we
Holy
don't
shit,
need
you're
the
not
board. The
listening to
board,
me.
okay, the
Holy
board
shit,
was
you're not listening
there
to me.
to
Yeah.
give the new. The board was there to give the new rules or the new setup, whatever. That's fine. We don't need more of the board. Like that could have been cut out. That was not necessary. I don't need to see more of these people that I don't care about. I don't care about you voting out this dude. Who cares? Who cares about the board?
Also, though,
That's
the
still
choice,
Mhm.
the
That still
choice
is
of
technically
singer.
a
I mean, for
that
fuck's
still is
sake, they
technically
could
a
have had
split.
Penny Loggins or something.
I'm sorry, what?
Orange Hat, that's still technically a split because Miyagi didn't teach Daniel everything that his family had created with that style of karate. So Miyagi chose to not incorporate some moves because either he didn't agree with them philosophically or what. And Sato learned from Miyagi's family. So while Sato did add his own touches, there was techniques. And Chosen literally told Daniel, like, you did not learn everything that Miyagi knew. You did not learn everything. But here's what I was
I
saying.
agree. The split stuff just and who cares?
I'm saying, but that's what I meant by it. So that's why, and like Chosen is going to come in with the stuff that Miyagi never taught Daniel, that Chosen himself learned through Sato, through Miyagi's side of the family, basically. So, but yeah, the Carrie Underwood scene, I was like, they did not need this. They did not need this.
If they wanted fans to cheer, bring in an 80s artist.
Yeah.
That used to sing shit like that. Frank Stallone or Kenny Loggins, Alice Cooper, something. You don't bring in that twat who probably wasn't even born back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't like that. I did not like that. It was so dumb. It took me out of it. I didn't like the board stuff. I didn't like what else did I not like? What else?
The board
Stingray.
stuff was fine. Like dynamics were like okay, but like at least it's set up where it's like they made changes where
That's the only thing that they're good for. That was it.
Yeah.
Make the changes,
Yeah,
send out the letters. That's it. That's where
Yeah.
their participation in Cobra Kai should have ended. But then we have them like on the balcony saying that they're gonna vote out so and so, and oh look, he actually did it. He brought in Carrie Underwood. Oh yeah, she's a friend of whoever. Who the fuck cares how you got Carrie Underwood? Get out of here.
Avatas in the chat. Nail it. They should have brought in Dee Snider. He was in the previous season. Dee Snider.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Cummingsworth's like, I am the board.
Yeah. So like I said, they didn't really need it. I did like how like someone was mentioning that they kind of like were goofing on woke culture stuff a little bit on the board. Man, I got a kick out of it, but at the same time, the only importance was creating those changes. So it forced the different the dojos to focus on like what they needed to use to win sort of situation and everything, and that's about done. That's like that's your role essentially.
Right. I also didn't like the fact that they brought in I can't remember the term that they used for it, but when they had like the show stuff with the nunchucks and the size
Kata.
and the swords.
Well, no, that's not kata. That's basically just like weapons technique.
Kata.
I'm saying that no, that's weapons technique. But they brought in kata and they brought in weapons finesse or weapons techniques. That's what they brought in.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't like that whole thing. I was just like, do 1-on-1. Like it's so simple. Why?
Well, I mean,
bring in
okay,
all of this other
I get
stuff?
it, but I get it because martial arts competitions do generally include kata.
Wait a minute. Carrie Underwood was born in 1983. She's that old?
Yeah, she's about that. Yeah, she's that old. Did you like? She's that old.
The skills. Thank you, Mike Hill. Skills. I didn't like that they brought in skills competition. I thought that was kind of dumb.
But at the same time, like kata is part of martial arts competitions.
I understand that kata is, but I don't like that they brought in skills. I think that was dumb.
But it is part of like those styles because I've seen taekwondo and things like that, and they do focus on that. So like that them bringing that in was plausible because of like my experience with martial arts competitions. They do that.
That's fine. That's fine. But if they're going to do that, then the actors who are doing it need to be believable. They look stupid. They looked ridiculous. The chick, Sam, with her size, it looked so dumb. Like at the very, if you're going to do that, then make it believable. It looked ridiculous. It looked dumb. I didn't like it at all. I thought it looked dumb. It didn't look believable. It didn't look like they had been training with these weapons. It didn't look believable at all.
Nunchucks doesn't even have anything to do with karate.
They didn't have Did they have nunchucks?
No, they didn't have nunchucks.
No, sorry, those axe things.
The size?
No, the one Dimitri was using.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, like I said, like my extent of martial arts is judo and aikido. I do have knowledge of like different martial arts competitions, but yeah, like the katana would be part of the skills competition, as well as the size and the bow staff, basically.
Yeah, definitely the bow staff. They always do that.
Because I used bow staff.
If Tori had used the bow staff, it would be a hobo.
Oh my god. Anyway, but like them making those changes to the competition.
And I agree with Neyman's. They didn't show any skills prep. They didn't show skills prep. So like, where did this come from? That was it. They didn't show any skill. All of the focus of this season was, teaching the two different techniques by the senseis, none of which included skills. So the fact that they included skills, it just didn't make any sense to me. That's what I'm saying. I don't care if it's part of a real competition. I could care less if it's part of a real competition. But the fact that they just brought it in to the final competition and we don't see them training with these weapons at all. It's all about the two different dynamics because of the one-on-one fights. So yeah, if it's included in a real martial arts competition, good for them. But within the flow of the story that we are talking about, they never trained with them. We hardly ever saw them training with the weapons. So the fact that now we're seeing them do such a great job with these weapons during the skills competition, it made no sense to me. That's what I'm saying.
So, well, there I agree with you. Basically, there last point I agree with you, because if they were going to add that to the plot, then they should have either cut certain parts of other episodes down so they could show that, or saved it for like season 5 or something like that. Basically, like that change, and just focused on, like, say, adding kata and splitting the competition to male and female.
Yeah, because we see them training with kata. We see them training there, but nothing with the skills part of the competition. That's my problem with it. Sure, if it's part of like martial arts competitions in outside of the Karate Kid Cobra Kai lore, then that's fine. That's cool. I understand that that's part of real martial arts competitions, but we never saw them training with these weapons at all.
Would have saved it for like season 5, basically, which would have given you an entire season to actually show them training with it. But
I mean, that one dude, Dimitri, with those two things, and how well he's doing with it, but yet throughout the whole season, we're being shown that, like, what am I gonna do? I can't beat this person. What am I gonna do? I can't. I'm just, here to bring my pal's self-esteem and make out with my really hot girlfriend. And then we see him with these two things, and he's doing it so well. It's like, when did that happen? Anyways, that's why I don't like that part of the competition.
Neyman says he could have done without the entire Kenny B plot, but at the same time, the Kenny B plot is connected to both Anthony and Robbie.
Yeah.
Also, I think that's gonna be expanded upon when Kenny's brother gets out of juvie next season.
Yeah. So now that
his brother, when his brother gets out of juvie, his brother could join Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Because it's already set up that Robbie's going to leave.
Yeah.
And now Kenny's in Cobra Kai, and where's his brother going to go? Where his little brother is, and that's Cobra Kai.
That's Cobra Kai. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
I get where you're coming from, Naaman's, because I didn't really care for Kenny either. I was just like, why the hell is this character here? I don't care about him. Get to something else. But he's connected to Daniel's son and what happened there. He's connected to Robbie and Robbie's stint in prison, and with Robbie's storyline. So I kind of I get why his character was there, but at the same time, I'm like, all right. Sure.
So
We got so much time. We spent so much time with this character when they could have been showing, training with skills. I don't know.
Honestly, it's I figure it's going to definitely be expanded upon in season 5, but like yeah, like say, could have taken away like a little bit of where it's like the focus on him being bullied, because we know he's being bullied. We don't exactly need to see every incident of him being bullied necessarily in this school, and focused on the focus of the season is supposed to be on that bet for the All Valley tournament. So let's see if they're going to make those changes. Let's see what those changes are, and let's see them actually training in those changes, like the bow staff, the sai, and the commas, basically. You saw a little bit, but like not believable enough that Dimitri would be that good at comma. Sam, maybe it's believable for Sam because she's been training with her dad her entire life, so she might know the size a little bit, basically. But Dimitri definitely, and Sam and Tori, where was the training with the katana? Where was that training? I mean, at least I don't want to call him by his nickname that Johnny gives him, but I can't remember the kid's name. But Johnny calls him Penis Breath. And he messes up with the bow staff in that fight. And who else messes up? There were other mess ups basically, but he was like using the bow staff, and the most we saw.
I feel like the most we saw that of them training with the weapons was that one little scene where they show Sam holding the sais, but she's talking to Miguel about something completely irrelevant. That was it. That was the extent of that. So I was just, and that was when they first found out about like skills, and she's like, I guess we could use the. I was just like, oh god, yeah. But there wasn't a lot that I didn't like about this season, to be honest.
The fight scenes in the tournaments was great. I thought the tournament fights were improved, which makes sense because all of them would have gotten better, wouldn't they?
Yeah. The only person that I really don't like watching fight is Sam, like, and Tori, like both of them. I mean, Tori obviously is better than Sam, in acting and fighting in every way, but watching them fight, it just goes so slow. Their moves are so slow.
Like, I think it's slow because of the Sam actors, actually. But
I know that's why it's slow.
I think next season, though, the feminist chick is going to be like a contender because she's proper psycho enough to train 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and I think that she's going to be a proper part of next season as well, because she was like, I lost, but look how far I've gone, how far I got. Just this, I've only been training for like, what did she say, like 3 or 4 months or something like that.
Yeah, and she seems to be the obsessive kind.
Yeah. So, but overall, this season was very, very, very good. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I agree with Trey. I think Trey, 6 weeks. She was only training for 6 weeks. Oh, damn. Yeah, she's gonna be badass next season. I agree with Trey. I don't believe that there were any filler episodes in this season. 10 episodes, perfect episodes. They all, first one led into the next one, led into the next one. No more, no less. Perfect amount of seasons, perfect amount of story. Looking forward to next season. I give it 4 out of 5.
So basically, like an 8 out of 10. Like I give it like 8.5 out of 10. Like it's definitely up there in seasons. It definitely sets up for potentially phenomenal season 5 with everything that went down in the final episode and like all the shifts. The pieces were put in place. It was like a chessboard. All those moves were made, and Silver just fucking checkmated everyone, almost essentially by what he did to Kreese, how what he did with paying off the ref and so forth. You can see how when that dynamic shift happened between him and Kreese, he was controlling, manipulating the pieces on the chessboard, and he checkmated everyone just about at the end of the episode. And now we are going to see Mike Barnes, season 5. It didn't exactly definitively set it up in the season, but there's no way that they can not show flashbacks with him and not introduce him into season 5. Chosen is back. Tori will very likely leave Cobra Kai. Robbie has definitely left Cobra Kai because of what happened. Kreese is now going to jail for something he didn't do because of what Silver did. Stingray is so desperate to be part of Cobra Kai, part of anything, because he has no friends, literally his own age, that he will do anything to be a Cobra Kai material. Sam is still a bit of a bitch. She needs to kind of chill out and take a step back. Miguel is on a quest to kind of not only find himself necessarily, but find out, about his dad. That we didn't even touch on this really, that his mom revealed to Johnny, Miguel's dad doesn't even know Miguel exists.
Yeah, she doesn't know that he exists.
So Miguel's going to find his dad, and this guy's not going to know who he is. What's that going to do to Miguel's character? He's going to find his dad, hoping to have a father figure in his life that he thought he had with Johnny.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully Johnny will find him first.
Yeah, or maybe.
Also, you have that little bit with Tori's aunt as well.
Yeah, and now her aunt's in the picture, who's basically threatening, Tori with when your mom passes away gracefully, as she puts it.
There was
Imagine this though. Tori's mom passes away, and the aunt basically gets the money, right? Tori has to find a place to live, and she goes and lives with Sam and their parents. Yeah,
something.
I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm. A lot of I agree, Naaman. Sam is a grade A bitch. Yeah, I've never liked her character either. A lot of focus is on parents this season. We see a lot of that dynamic, the parents and mentors, mentor dynamic this season.
I just want to say to Raging Rhino, he shared with me an article through CNN about this mother and son's New Year's Eve theme was for Cobra Kai season 4. It's actually pretty kind of sweet. I was just skimming through it. It's CNN, but it's not stupid somehow. CNN put a decent article out, or at least the guy who wrote it is a decent article. So I love this line. It's what about non-binary and gender fluid? Oh yeah, lots
of fluids. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Love it.
Zero Fall. You should watch it. It's worth watching because there's some critiques, but not enough to take away from what the season set up for the coming season and what it built upon from the previous seasons. So, if they somehow don't overstay their welcome and they keep doing a good job, then I want to see more of this. But at the same time, I don't want it to become stale, which what it could potentially get to if, say, there's no, for example, Daniel still won't let go of the rivalries and so forth.
No, I think that I think that Chosen is going to be a big part of him finally letting go and working with other people. I think that Chosen's going to be a big part of that, just because of how they interacted last season. The fact that Daniel still thought that they had this rivalry, the fact that Daniel hadn't moved on, but Chosen had, and he was just playing into how Daniel looked at him. He was just playing into that for him. But Chosen had moved on. He's grown up and has a life now, and Daniel's still kind of holding on to the past. So I think that Chosen is probably going to be a big part of him finally letting go of old rivalries, past the past, and moving forward with his life. I think
he's definitely going to be a big part, but when we bring in Mike Barnes, there's still going to be that holding on, because there was definitely rivalry there.
Exactly. And I think that's why Chosen is going to be a big part of him finally moving on and learning from whatever happened from the past, and learning from that and using lessons learned in order to, either take down Cobra Kai and move on with his life, and more growth for Daniel. Because that's something that we really haven't seen too much is the growth in Daniel, which kind of irritates me, but whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like that's where it could become stale. But if Chosen's brought in to do that, and like what Rhino says here, it's like Daniel like finally like kind of opening his eyes and seeing like Johnny's method is just as good, and them working together at the end.
It's a turning point for Daniel, and it's a shame that it took this freaking long, because that's something that has been bugging me, is that there's growth for everybody but Daniel. He's incredibly stubborn, set in his ways, and almost on his high horse for a lot of the seasons, and it was really bugging me this season. So I really hope that they do use Chosen to hopefully get some growth in there for Daniel, because I mean, they had a whole fight scene because he is so stubborn. He thinks that his way is the right way, is the only way, and it really bugs me that Daniel is that stubborn.
Yeah,
they did have him develop a bit at the end though, before the final fight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I say, but by the end, he was finally developing.
He was finally, there was some growth there for Daniel, and that's what I'm saying. I like that they're bringing in Chosen, because he learned something from Chosen. There's that old rivalry that Daniel is holding on to. People move on from it. You need to move on from it too. You can learn something from an old rival, and he learned that with Chosen, and I think that that's something that's going to be crucial to Daniel growing as a character and moving on from all of these stupid old rivalries that he's holding on to.
Another thing tying into his growth at the end, where it's like this is minor in the scheme of things with the season, but you saw one instance where Johnny was trying to make amends with Daniel, and he didn't want to say I'm sorry because that shows weakness. Daniel was the same way. It's like, I got to reach out to Johnny. I got to make amends for like whatever that happened, but I don't want to say sorry. That shows weakness. And what do they do at the end?
I think that Daniel reaches out because it's the right thing to do, but he doesn't want to do it. Because
I'm saying, but both of them say sorry shows weakness. Both of them in their own way say sorry shows weakness. And what do they do at the end? They say sorry to each other. That was a turning point for Daniel, because Daniel couldn't say I'm sorry. He couldn't say I'm sorry because he was on his high horse. He was too damn stubborn. He was too stubborn to see that he was also in the wrong for a lot of it. And they finally said, he started it. He said, I'm sorry. That was a turning point for Daniel. Because they both said, I can't say I'm sorry. That shows weakness. But they apologized to each other at the end. That was a turning point. And now you have Chosen coming back in, who's like finally going to kind of smack Daniel back into place, saying let go of the rivalries. We've moved on. You need to move on too, and focus on the here and now. And the here and now is taking down Cobra Kai, basically, because that's what Daniel is saying. It's like I can't keep a bet or honor a bet with those who have none. So his focus has got to be on taking down Cobra Kai as it is now with Terry Silver at the helm.
Here's a question though: why would Chosen get invested?
Because Chosen is the one with the skills that Daniel was never taught.
What's the character's motivation for joining up? That one seems a bit fuzzy to me. Why would he leave Japan to get into drama in California?
Maybe we'll find that out.
I'm trying to remember last season when Daniel left. Did Chosen say if you ever need my help, just let me know? Did he ever leave it open ended like that? Because if he did, then maybe that's why.
I think he did. I think he did in a way leave it open ended, where it's like, yeah, I'm teaching you these things, but these aren't the only things. So if you ever need me, if you ever need me, let me know, or it's like something like that. And I think when Daniel was talking to Mr. Miyagi's grave, he was also talking to Chosen. It's like, I need you.
I don't think he was talking to Mr. Miyagi's grave.
I think he's facing towards Miyagi's grave, but he's actually talking to Chosen. He's walking into the sink. He's like, I need you. Because again, growth for Daniel, where he's realizing that my way isn't the only way. and it hasn't. My way hasn't worked by itself this entire time. And he's realizing that, and one way to expand upon it, not just bringing in Johnny with his techniques, is to bring in Chosen with the skills that Miyagi's ancestors taught through the years, but Miyagi himself never taught Daniel. Because he needs to actually evolve his style and be like find his own style, and that's one like what he's going to end up doing basically, or what's going to be ended up doing is that the blend of all those styles with those senseis.
The blend of all those styles will lead to a style and a JoJo called Tiger Beak, which is the perfect fighting style.
Tiger Beak.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's why I believe like you need Chosen entered into the mix, because you have to have that blend. Because like the final lesson was Miyagi telling Daniel that you're learning what I'm teaching you, but you have to find your own method. You have to find your own way of teaching it. You have to find your own style that's comfortable for you. And it's going to be Eagle Fang, Miyagi-Do, and what's Chosen style again? Of karate? I can't remember for season 3, but basically it's going to be a blend of those. At least what I'm interpreting with bringing Chosen back into season 5. So, it's Chosen's middle name 1. Yeah, Chosen 1. Yes, from
Kung Pao.
Yeah, Kung Pao Enter the Fist. So yeah,
which is a fantastic movie. Which
Steve, what's his name? Odekirk said like he would never do again because it was such a pain in the ass to make. Because basically timing it perfectly with the original footage from the other movies, and as well as like the scenes they had to film. So
people got pissed too because the actors he was using, the footage people, they had passed away, and their families got pissed.
What? Sorry, what?
Wow.
I'm sorry. I had to respond to something. I'm sorry. I was like, yes,
we will piss off soon.
Chosen is Miyagi-Do, and I explained this, but it's not exactly Miyagi-Do that Daniel learned. Is my point. Yeah. It's a different style. I'm sorry. Please listen to me when I say this, because I am a martial artist. When I say style, just because you both like learn karate doesn't mean you learn the same style of karate. That's how it works.
It's like soccer. You play in different positions.
Yes. So it is now 12:30 a.m. my time. We've been talking about this for going on 2.5 hours, and I don't think there's really any more that we can exactly expand upon. If you haven't seen the season and you enjoy the first 3, go watch this one, because it's very good at bridging season 3 to season 5 and setting up new shit to go down in season 5, to include the reintroduction of Mike Barnes, the bad boy of karate. So, okay. When he said he's going to break a promise when he's talking Miyagi's grave, he's talking.
Doesn't he speak to Miyagi's grave twice?
Yeah. So I think in a way he is talking to Miyagi, but he's talking in a way to kind of say to come to terms with what he's going to do.
When he's talking about breaking a promise, wasn't that before him and Johnny have that fight?
Mm-hmm.
That's when he's talking about the promise. Isn't that right?
Well, yeah.
Like I have to break a promise, but I'm doing this for all the right reasons, and if I'm not, then please.
Yeah, like that's before the fight. He's not talking to his grave. He's talking to his picture, because he's in his.
Oh, he's talking to his picture. That's right. He's talking to his picture. You're right.
When he's at the grave, he's kind of coming. He's kind of talking to Miyagi, but at the same time, he's really talking to come to terms with what he's going to do, as well as he's talking to Chosen, saying, "I need your help," basically. So, like he's basically come to terms with like I can't be just on the offensive. I have to be on the offensive, and who better to do that also than the offensive style of Miyagi-Do that is Chosen, basically. So, So there's a basically, but then again, the writing style is so gray that you can interpret it any fucking way you want, and it's basically no right or wrong answer. And that's what I love about the writing. It's not exactly clear cut because we can have these debates and these discussions. So, and in fact, it is 2.5 hours. I'm going to wrap it up here and say, go watch the season if you haven't watched it already and get ready for season 5 because it leaves it on a fucking high note.
Yeah.
Basically, fire last episode.
So good.
So, before I say goodnight to the chat, we'll let Stieg, since he is the guest, let everybody know where they can or cannot find you and all that fun stuff about you.
Yeah. OG Star Wars on Thursdays. Your channel on Wednesdays. Most Wednesdays if I'm not sleeping. And Teresa's channel on Saturdays for the Lord of the Rings book talk.
Ooh.
And also going to be doing something with Lady Gravemaster once a month, which hopefully is going to be fun.
Lady Drew.
And I can't tell you what it is until we've done the first one.
All right.
But it's going to be educationally 80s.
I'm excited.
Oh, I know what he's doing. But I can't say. But yeah, but it is going to be educationally 80s, and it's going to be awesome, pretty much. But anyway,
that sounds awesome.
Thank you,
I think Trey would like that. Trey's gonna like that.
Yeah. So thank you, Stieg, for joining us and giving your inputs on. Oh, what's your score, Stieg? What's your score that you would give season 4, real fast?
9 out of 10.
All right, so he's a 9. I'm about an 8, 8.5, and Steph is an 8. So we're close. Basically, we're close. We all very much enjoyed this season. So yeah, very good season. But Steph, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, all at the same name, My Nerdy Home.
Yep. And you can find me here on my channel, Jade Shadow, Twitch, Jade_Fire, which I got confused with a porn star name. That was an interesting experience during my Splitgate stream. And yeah, and I play different games. I'm going to be adding more to the roster this coming year. So look for that because I have a little thing in the works where I'm going to be adding possibly a new setup where I'll be able to play different games and add those to it.
More Animal Crossing.
What?
More Animal Crossing.
I'm not.
I want you to come to my island. Come to my island.
I'm not going to watch her play that shit anymore.
Why?
I seen it once. She was picking up sticks. She was like, "This game's for fucking 8-year-olds." And then she goes, 1 stick, 2 stick, 3 sticks. I'm like, "Yeah, you're playing it right."
She's just she's at the beginning. She's building up her island. I gave her stuff that'll help her do that a lot quicker.
Yeah.
You have to, Mara, what you have to do to get to, you have to like, just all the shit that I gave you, just scatter it around. That's why I was planting so many bushes and flowers and stuff. You have to like get your island to a certain level before you can get a house. So that's why I gave you so many things to help you do that a lot quicker.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll jump on tomorrow if I have time before the anime discussion stream. Because I have to watch the 3rd movie in the Heaven's Field trilogy, so I can talk about it tomorrow evening. So I got to get that done tomorrow.
Animal Crossing looks like a cutesy version of Stardew Valley.
It's adorable. I absolutely love it.
But anyway, yes, it's one of the games that I did play on Friday. Hey Ryan, we're wrapping up. But thank you so much for popping in the chat. But yeah, it's like one of the games I play. I also play Resident Evil 2 now. I've played through 7 and 8. I play Splitgate. I play Witcher. I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I play Ghost of Tsushima. All that. And I'll be adding more to the roster of my style of games, which is not exactly Animal Crossing, but I hope you enjoy it. But anyway, that's the plan. Mark the Cyborg's channel tomorrow evening for the 3rd movie in Heaven's Field trilogy. And then the roster of streaming schedules to go back to relatively normal starting next Monday, which will most likely be Mario Kart because I do that with followers.
Can I make a gaming request?
Maybe, if I can.
It's not Leisure Suit Larry 6. It's Alien Isolation.
Actually, I think I have that. I just haven't played through it. But I was downloading a lot of games. I would just need to try to transfer it or download it. I know I got one of the Alien games. And I think it was that. But
because that's,
I'd have to
you'll get jump scares and shit.
I'd have to re-download it on my PS5 because I had it for PS4. So
Yeah.
all right. At some point, I will be rotating in other games, but I only have so many days that I can stream on Twitch. So it's like one of those where it's like I got to figure out how I'm going to rotate new games in and so forth. So, but there's that. But anyway, thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you to everyone who sent super chats. Thank you to my co-host Steph, and it'll be on her channel next week.
Yes.
For Talk Nerdy to us at 10 p.m. Eastern. And thank you to Stieg for giving his input on Cobra Kai Season 4. Cobra Kai never dies. And I will see you all later on, either on Twitch or YouTube. So have fun. Have an awesome 2022. And we will see you all later. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.